Now, after
I
we
didn't
spent
pick any.
we spent like 5 minutes just trying to get these in the right fucking order. All right. The tier names are going to be uh
What, Shakespearean?
Kubo Eugenius,
Sure.
Kubo Eugenius, Kubo you cool dude,
That's
uh
spelled.
Kubo you my man. Actually, no, I'm gonna remove this one. Delete. Oh, Kubo,
Yeah.
you my man. Kubo, you good. Kubo, you guy. Kubo, you Kubo, you hack.
I
All
highly
right.
doubt anything's going that low.
I do too, but just to be on the safe side. So roses are red, violets are blue. I love Bleach, and you should too, Shiki. Now, do you want to explain what we're gonna do for this tier list and how we're gonna structure this?
Alright, so if you're cringe and anime only, or if you just read like bad translations, like if you read it weekly, you would not know this. Bleach is a very unique manga. Every single volume outside of the final one only has one character on it. Why? Because when you open the manga, every single volume starts with a poem about that character, I think 73 out of 74 times from that character's POV.
I think there's two that I know for sure that are not.
Oh, so 70. And
But
yeah,
yeah, so anywho, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take turns reading them out in the voice of the characters to make this more fun. Shiki, would you like to begin? Would you like to
okay, we're
begin?
reading the first one.
Yes.
Right. First one is how would Ichigo say that? He'd say it angsty. He's like, "We fear that which we cannot see."
All right, a simple phrase, but it's actually comes to mean more and more as the series goes on. I like that it just starts with that one phrase, and that's the first one.
Hmm.
Sticks with you. So it's really cool how the two biggest antagonists in the series is a guy who makes illusions and a guy who has a bajillion eyes who wants to see everything. Because people fear what they can't see, right?
Yeah. And even though the poem applies to Ichigo, it applies to other characters really heavily, like Tosin and Hisagi, obviously.
Yeah. Although
And
I
then
feel like
also the evolution of like what you cannot see keeps going. Like Ichigo can't even see his own soul early on. He can't see other ghosts. He can't see his own soul. Well, he can see ghosts. He can't see soul reapers or hollows. And then it evolves, and like even like the Quincy are called like a hidden menace. You couldn't see them living basically among Soul Society for millennia. Literally, the final threat was a group you couldn't see, even though they were right there.
yeah. And I think it's really cool because like even before you realize all of Bleach's like Legrand themes and stuff, it's about ghosts and stuff. Like after the first chapter, so like it just makes sense. People feel what they can't see. People can't see supernatural ghosty stuff, so it just kind of makes sense to a first time viewer too.
Yeah. Well, it's cool for Ichigo because Ichigo was supposed to be the one who could see everything, but then he gets introduced to something even he couldn't see with hollows.
Yeah. Alrighty, Rooney. So is Kubo you good for that or
Yeah, that's good.
yeah?
Yeah. Well, we can adjust if we need to.
Yeah. All right. So next is Rukia. All right. People have hope because they cannot see death standing behind them. Which kind of just feels like it's a response to the first poem because like
Yeah,
it's
it
saying
does.
yeah, because like she's saying, oh no, you don't fear what you don't like aren't aware of, which you're like if you can't see it you can't be afraid of it, like you're
Yes,
ignorant, like ignorance is bliss is
yeah,
kind of what she's saying.
I think it's kind of her perspective as a Soul Reaper living in the human world, where it's like they can't see, and it's also kind of her thoughts on Ichigo. Humans in general can't see hollows coming to kill them, and Ichigo doesn't like see the greater world he's being thrust into, or like a lot of the consequences and shit. Half of that's because she won't tell him.
Yeah.
I think that's it. It's kind of her being like, the stuff I know and can see is horrifying, and the whole death standing behind them is like literally like when she like literally like when Byakuya and Renji come to take her, they are the death standing behind her.
Yeah, or just like in general, Shinigami and Hollows are just like standing behind
Yeah,
everyone,
yeah, it's
unseen
cool.
by most people. Yeah.
Also, noteworthy. Rukia's first poem is about hope and death, and her ultimate fight is against a fear monster,
Yeah, as not the fear dude.
which is fun.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, Orihime's is the
All,
best one so far.
all right.
All right. Oh, fuck, I have to do an Orihime. What the fuck?
Just do like a
Uh,
bubbly bimbo
no,
voice.
no. Back in the day, I could. Back when we were dangening. I've gone weak.
Okay.
All right. If I were fuck. All right. How would I do this? If I were rain that joins the sky and earth that otherwise never touch, could I join two hearts as well? That was awful. I'll get back. All right. So yeah,
Yo,
really good. If I were rain that joins sky and earth that otherwise never touch, could I join two hearts as well? That was much clearer.
yeah, and
So
that.
I think it's Kino.
Yeah. Why do you think it's
It's
Kino?
good. Uh, well, for one, joining hearts immediately as a Bleach fan, you should think of her Ulquiorra stuff.
Yeah.
And then also, if I were Rain is cool because this volume is about Ichigo's past with his mom and Grand Fisher, and the rain is the thing that makes Ichigo like sad and depressed. So it's literally Orihime being like, "Can I be the rain that makes Ichigo happy instead of sad?" It's so cool and good.
Yeah, it's Nito Burrito.
And then Sky and Earth is the whole Bleach symbolism of like separated worlds that need to be connected.
Yeah. And
Good.
all right, so next is Uryu.
Oh, that's so easy.
We are drawn to each other like drops of water, like the planets. We repulse each other like magnets, like the colors of our skin.
First of all, it makes Uryu sound racist, which is really funny. He just, which is crazy. No, but color of our skin is cool because even if it's not literal, Uryu does have like a prejudice based on race because he's a Quincy.
Yeah. And like obviously, like the reason why him and Ichigo like are drawn to is because they're both like spiritually aware. They both fight hollows and stuff, but at the same time, he can't like be friends with Ichigo at first because he's a Quincy, he's a Soul Reaper, and we're supposed to be sworn enemies and all that.
Oh, and also what's kind of cool is for the things drawn to each other, he does water and planets. Things water must always rest, and plants are always drawn to each other. But for repulse, he does colors of our skin, which we know to be wrong. Ichigo's best friend is Chad, and magnets, which can quite literally attract each other. So while the attraction is guaranteed, the repulsing is not necessarily true,
Yeah, that's cool.
which I think is really cool. It kind of shows how his worldview is like he thinks there has to be a repulsion when even in his examples that's not true.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't know. I can't do it. We need. I wish Mocha was here. I'd make him do chats. He can do
All right,
deep
all right.
voices.
I can't protect you without
I
holding
can
a
do it.
sword.
I can do a deep voice. I can't protect you without holding a sword. I can't embrace you while holding a sword. That's good.
It's so
That's
simple.
bar.
It's so simple.
Oh, it's such bars. No, it's great. I love it. I love it.
It is so
I
simple.
think this is the one that, even though Mocha doesn't like Bleach and hasn't read it in like 2 years, he read this poem and is like, damn.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like a kind of trope that fits into a lot of his favorite characters. Where it's like, oh, dude, it's like literally guts. Where it's like, oh, I need to pick up the big sword and go fight the big scary demons to protect Casca. But also, if I'm carrying the big scary sword and fighting big scary monsters,
of a character he likes that applies to is Kenshin and his fucking reverse blade.
yeah.
No, but Chad's is super cool because that's Chad's entire conflict. He wants to be able to protect people. He feels that's like literally his mission, especially early on. Early on, Chad and Ichigo are like borderline suicidal with their like selflessness towards other people because they feel they have to.
Yeah, literally his introduction is he like saves someone from a what was it, like a steel beam falling on top of him.
Yeah, an eye beam fell on him. Yeah, and then it's cool because also it's about holding swords, and then Chad's biggest power up is each hand holding a different thing, one a shield, one a sword.
I thought that was really cool. Like it was revealed later on that his first hand, the one he got, was a shield, not a sword.
Yeah, the one that he treated as a sword was a shield.
Yeah, and interestingly, he's never used the sword one in front of like his friends or anything. Just like when he
No,
was
he
fighting
only
alone.
did it against another Aranka.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
cool.
cool.
I like it a lot.
I wish Chad
No,
did
this
more.
is yeah, no, this is I would say the first poem we've read that you could just give to people who don't give a shit about Bleach. They'd still like it.
Yeah, I know.
Haha, you have to do
All
Urahara.
right. No, your heart can be fun. Yes, there is fear for us. Or I'm sorry. Yes,
There's no you fucked that
sorry.
up so
Yes,
bad.
yes. There's no fate for us. Only those who are swallowed by ignorance and fear and miss a step fall into the rapid river called fate.
Uh same as all the other intro ones, that heavily ties into his final fight.
Yeah, he fights a guy who's like a coward during the whole war, and he's always very cautious, but also he never like he's lazy and kind of didn't prepare anything ahead of time. Whereas Kisuke will prepare 10,000 different plans just in case one might come in handy.
No, it's kind of cool how we learn at the end that Urahara's main driving force is fear of death. He is so fucking scared of dying.
Yeah,
Um,
he's paranoid, like incredibly so.
yeah, well, no, because he says only those swallowed by ignorance and fear miss a step, which is this basically you can't let your fear control you. And then also tying into like when this is introduced, um, it's right before Byakuya and Renji come to take Rukia. Like that's how this volume ends.
Yeah,
So like there is no fate for us. Basically, his point is that fate is something that you let take you. And then this arc is about bad shit happening that then becomes the catalyst for Ichigo's training with him. Good
yeah, and
shit.
it's even like when Ichigo's like having his mid-battle flashback against Renji and like thinking back to how Urahara trained him, or it's like stop being a pussy, stop being afraid, let some of your fear control you, go attack and be courageous and bold, you pansy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All
All right.
right, Byakuya is
How the
next.
fuck do I do a Beyond?
Just go monotone.
Yeah, we should not shed tears. That is a surrender of the body to the heart. It is only proof that we are beings that do not know what to do with our hearts.
I like this one.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
It is just like a perfect encapsulation of what he deals with this arc.
Yeah.
And they do it so early. They do it before we even get to Soul Society. It implants the idea that Byakuya has a lot of conflict, even before his introduction implies he does.
Yeah, like he's basically I don't know what to do with my heart because I'm caught in between the vow to my dead parents and the vow to my dead wife to protect her sister. And like, obviously his whole thing, and especially with Rukia, is that like, Soul Reaper should be emotionless, they should be super logical, they should, adhere to the rules and the system and all that, and having a heart just gets in the way of that most of the time.
Yeah.
And like
Oh, and
even
adding to the Bleach definition of a heart, the two hearts he's referring to here are his bond with his wife and his bond with his sister.
Yeah. And also, one cool thing about Rukia's final fight, is that like her like final Bankai is that she like lowers her own like body temperature to like sub-zero, which like technically quote unquote kills her. But the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
it's like because like because she can hold on to like her courage or whatever, she can stop herself just at the brink before death, so she's able to remain like that super like logical and kill almost kill her emotions and become like cold blooded like her brother, but only temporarily. She always reverts back after the Bankai, so it's like she
Yeah.
can be warm blooded when she needs to, and then cold hearted when she has to be too. And it's like
It's
she
good.
does know what to do with her heart. She knows when to put it away and when to keep it out.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. All right. Yuha blocks first poem. It's
Technically,
not
kind of.
technically it's
It's
Zangetsu's.
more so
Zangetsu
Ichigo's
is a
Quincy
different character.
powers.
Zangetsu is a different character.
Ichigo's Quincy powers first poem, or Old Man Zangetsu, as everyone
I
calls it.
remember you told me this was like the normie poem.
So many people, so many normie Bleach fans
Is it a Kubo
fucking love
Eugenius?
this
Is it a
thing.
Kubo Eugenius?
I mean, it's good. You can read it. You haven't done that yet.
It rusts. It can never be trusted. If its owner fails to control it, it will cut him. Yes, pride is like a blade.
Very good. It's good for Bleach specifically
I know, like
because
right now, Ichigo's literally fighting his own sword inside of his own head so that he can, like, learn to tame it and control it and use it in battle.
Yeah,
So
and
like on
this
a
is
pretty
also
literal level, it works.
this is also the volume where he fights Urahara
Yeah.
for training. But then also we see the pride of his friends, or like Uryu. This is also the arc where like Uryu does his. And also Bleach in general, I would say pride is actually like one of the five like they're like top five biggest themes in Bleach.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like you have the whole thing where Ukitake says like you whenever people fight, they fight either for like pride or for duty or something. I think.
Yeah. And one thing is pride and heart and Bleach are directly connected.
I
Because
just
like
love
the
something
heart
really cool about this poem.
no, because what I'm thinking of no, because like in Bleach, pride and heart are innately connected. Where like as Kaien explains, the heart is the bond between two people. But as Byakuya's fight with the seventh or eighth Espada shows, your pride is the people. Your pride can be the people around you because Byakuya's pride is Rukia.
Yeah. So okay, so the one thing I think is really cool about this poem is the first two lines. If it rusts, it cannot be trusted, and if its owner fails to control it, it will cut him. I think the first one is about Black Zangetsu, and the other one's about White Zangetsu. Because like
I think that's pretty fair.
yeah, like because like when Ichigo's trying to learn the final Getsuga Tensho, it's Black Zangetsu who's like, I don't want you to learn it because I want you to keep my power so that I can keep protecting you. So I think
Right.
like to rust means like inaction, which like like
Yeah.
if you let your fear overtake you, and Black Zangetsu is like a representation of Ichigo's like own like fears and stuff like that of like wanting
Yeah.
to he fears his friends getting hurt or himself getting hurt. And then if its owner fails control, it will cut him is just like White Zangetsu when he goes berserk and
Pretty
lets his
clean.
anger get the better of him. It makes me want to put it in Kubo Eugenius. I like this poem more.
No, I think that's fair. I think it's the best poem we have so far. Well, shocker, the one about swords is good for Bleach. I have to do fucking Kukaku? What the fuck does she sound like? I haven't seen the anime in 8 years.
Just do like a rough and tumble lady voice.
Oh, all of us dream. Hey, I'm just doing a smoker. Fuck it. She smokes now. She has fireworks. Oh, all of us dream that we are flying the skies with our eyes open. That's pretty good considering she's a non-character.
Yeah, like people fear what they can't see, so you want to fly through the air, which sounds terrifying, but as long as you keep your eyes open, keep your eyes on the prize, you'll be a-okay.
I do think it might be the weakest one I've had so far, though.
Yeah, okay, Kubo, you guy then.
Yeah. One with her, it kind of just I think you could say it's supposed to represent kind of like what Shiba do, because like she's like the remnant of the Shiba clan, and the Shiba people in general do kind of have a trend of going in
Going gung
above their
ho,
heads.
yeah, going
Yeah,
all
like
in.
doing the equivalent of skydiving in terms of danger. Be it Ganju fighting Yumichika, who despite being fourth in command is vice captain level, and then trying to fight Byakuya, and then Ishin just fucking jumping White Zangetsu and then giving up his life. Yeah, she is the leader of the Shiba, kind of represents that. And then We Dream is cool because it's like, even though the Shiba represent that, she specifically, partially because she's missing a fucking arm, doesn't really do much of that herself.
Oh yeah.
You could also say it might recontextualize the thing of how the Shiba fell from grace. How that could be
Maybe.
seen as like they're forced to be on the outskirts, so even if they don't want to reclaim their place, it still shows that they yearn for a freedom.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is Ganju. All right,
Yeah.
I remember his voice well from the dub just because I never forgot that line. Self-proclaimed #1 Soul Reaper hater.
He does say it a lot.
We reach out with our hands, brush away the clouds and pierce the sky to grab the moon and Mars, but we still can't reach the truth.
This is cool for several reasons. One, it ties into his sisters.
Yeah, it does, because,
He doesn't
flying
just
through the
want to
sky.
fly freely in the sky. He wants to pierce it. He wants to go beyond his sisters, which kind of shows how like his sister is like free from her grief when it comes to Kaien and is kind of just vibing, whereas he wants to go beyond that and wants to avenge Kaien.
Yeah.
Brush away the clouds, like brush away obscurities, and then grab the moon and Mars is so cool because the moon in Bleach, because Buddhism, and also Aizen up the monkey poem. The moon is like it can represent like knowledge, what you want. It's kind of like the vague idea of enlightenment. So whatever the final path would be for what characters want.
I
He
always
wants to
thought of it
go,
as like goals that are like nigh unobtainable.
yeah, like the peak. And
Yeah.
what's cool about that is, or just like, and then the thing is, it's Bleach always uses a crescent moon, which is like incompleteness. What's cool is he doesn't just want to grab the moon; he wants to grab Mars. He's going beyond even that, and he goes above and beyond almost everyone else when it comes to what he wants, which for him is mainly avenging his brother, but still can't reach the truth. Because Ganju, despite being the #1 Soul Reaper hater and picking a fight with Ichigo, who is ironically related to him, and he doesn't. I think they still don't know that. He can't reach the very basic truth about Kaien
What do you
until
mean?
later when.
What do you mean? Is a Shiba? He doesn't have our distinct black hair. What's going on?
Oh my God, he's literally your brother, but ginger. He's like, what? No.
we have a redheaded stepchild in the family.
Literally.
All right, Renji.
Oh fuck! I like this. Light a fire to the fang that cannot be reached, so that I do not have to see that star, so I do not have to slit this throat. What
an edgy poem.
What a good Renji's edgy. Period. For the record, Renji's final fight is literally him being like, "Oh, you want me to be a villain? Bet." Yeah, that's cool. Because fangs and shit kind of apply to Renji's fighting style. His sword looks like fangs, and then his Bankai, big fucking snake.
Yeah.
Or at least his shitty Bankai. And then obviously, so I do not have to see that star, so I do not have to slit this throat. That star, I assume, is kind of just like, one is like the vague idea of like the truth beyond Soul Society, but to be more specific, because it's a star, I think it's Rukia.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then so I do not have to slit this throat. I think is half Shocker going against Soul Society is a suicide mission, but also like he has to kill his position in it.
I kind of thought that it was about like Rukia, because like he was ordered to like kidnap Rukia, and like he has to sit by and watch as she dies. Like she gets executed.
The way he says "slit this throat," I took as he's referring to himself.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Especially the part where he says, "So that I do not slit this throat." It gives the impression that like Renji knows that if like light fire, so destroy it. He's basically like destroy Rukia, otherwise I will kill myself to try and save her.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
It's cool. Good... I like it. It is straight up when he tries to do that arc, for the record. It's good.
Ooh, all right, Aizen. I like this one.
Oh, this one's quite good.
We think a flower on a cliff is beautiful because we stop our feet at the cliff's edge, unable to step out into the sky, like that fearless flower. Dude, it's literally yeah, no, it's about like how people are afraid to leave like what they're comfortable or what they know, and obviously like courage is a big thing in Bleach, and that like say applies to Ichigo. Like he could even be like, you can even interpret this poem as him like praising Ichigo for like going against the system and all that.
Yeah.
But like he's saying he wants everyone to do that because that's what he's doing, because like he hates people who are complacent and don't ask questions and don't wonder why the world is the way that it is, and he thinks people are too cowardly to do that.
And I think there's two other it's basically like when he tries to egg Renji on into being suspicious about Soul Society. But also I think there's two noteworthy things. One is the whole thing of being able to step out into the sky, kind of again ties into the Shiba thing of like the freedom. People kind of yearn for the freedom, but also the thing that they're amazed by is a flower, something still stuck to the cliff, because that's kind of thing. Because that's kind of the whole thing. Even someone like they are all still stuck within the greater rules of Soul Society, because the thing Aizen wants to overthrow the most is ironically something that's not even stuck to a cliff, but outright flying, which is Reo's palace.
Yeah, and also like cool. like two other things. I forgot what was the first one. Is that like you still cannot tell that Aizen is a villain based on this poem, even though it like reflects his views so much.
Yeah.
And then B is that like his Zanpakuto is like water flower mirror flower water moon, right?
Yeah.
So the flower he's talking about could be like, say, an illusion, because like that's
Yeah.
what the name of his Zanpakuto.
Yeah, and also the whole thing about like how it could be Ichigo, that does kind of represent how their ending is. Where Aizen does kind of like straight up reject everything and just try to like he would fail, but he was going to try to tear down Reo.
Yeah.
Whereas like the fearless flower, which we could say is like an Ichigo type, despite being fearless and flying and being out above in the sky, doesn't leave stability. Ichigo doesn't straight up try to wreck Soul Society.
I kind of thought that like the thing was about like, because like the flower is like him, right? Like he's on the edge, like asking questions, and so we think a flower on a cliff is beautiful. People love him so much right now, especially Momo.
Yeah.
Like he's an aspirational figure for just being on the cliff's edge.
And
but
even or like how Renji really respects
yeah,
him.
but like what he really wants to do is like step out onto the open sky, because the Aizen that he's pretending to be right now is just like is literally not even his real personality. It's what he's just faking and earning admiration from people while being that. But he wants to go further. But in going further, he becomes something they all hate. The main villain.
Just to kind of touch on like the bravery shit more. This is also the volume where 3 different people steel themselves to fight captains. Actually, Ichigo fights Kenpachi, Chad fights Kyoraku, and Momo tries to kill Gin.
Yeah, she does her best.
So this is actually the arc of like 3 different people trying to do just that.
I want to put this in Kubo
Like
Genius.
Oh, dude, the part that it fits the volume 2 on top of that when there's no reason for it is fucking insane.
Yeah,
Oh,
Aizen's so good. Aizen is so good, and so is Kenpachi.
Yeah, no, Aizen's great. Every time we set aside our pride, we take a step closer to the beast. Every time we kill an emotion, we take a step away from the beast. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because he separates pride and emotions as 2 different things. Because setting aside pride is good, but killing an emotion is bad in his mind.
Yeah, because like being a beast sounds like something that
No,
like...
I had it backwards. Killing your pride is bad. Killing an emotion is good.
Yeah.
And I think that shows Kenpachi innately, because the beast to him is literally his full power.
Yeah.
And setting aside his pride to get closer to the beast is literally like, oh, fucking... if we want to be super literal and we say pride is like a blade and then Yachiru is his blade, the fact that he sets aside Yachiru is how he achieves Shikai is kind of fucking insane. Wait a fucking minute. Anyway, beyond that, and then every time we kill an emotion, we take a step away. It's kind of the thing of like, Kenpachi is trying to have as many fun emotions as he can, but he has to hold himself back, because if he ever actually fully let loose, he doesn't want that, because Kenpachi doesn't want to become the beast, because then he doesn't get fun fights no more.
You can kind of interpret like to set aside pride as like him like removing a limb, like, oh, he took the bells out of his hair. He starts using 2 hands when he fights. Like he's takes fights more seriously, and therefore like sort of sets aside his pride. Like, oh, I can just beat you with 1 hand. He kind of has to forget about that more and more as he fights stronger dudes.
He leads fights by letting people hit him.
Yeah.
And this is the volume where and also pride is interesting, because remember, pride is like a blade, because the Kenpachi fight isn't just about Kenpachi. The Kenpachi fight is mainly about Ichigo fighting the blades inside of him.
Where do you want to put this one?
I'm not. I think it's very good. I think it goes in. I think it's better than the Uryu. So I'd put it next to Renji.
All right, cool. I'm actually not ordering them within the tier list themselves. I think that's a little too pedantic. That's a little too pedantic, I think.
I disagree. Do it.
All right,
do
fine.
it, you lame-o.
All right.
I thought you were. I thought it was just a coincidence that they all lined up.
Okay. If you have any disagreements, just tell me.
I think you're good for now.
Okay. All right. Next.
It's Hanataro.
Creak, creak, tower of purgatory, piercing the world like light. Sway, sway, tower of spine. Will it be us or the sky that falls? Obviously he's a scared little bitch, so he's just talking about all the things that are worrying him right now. One thing I think I like about this poem is that like it seems like outwardly more childish than the other ones because it has like that like creak sway
Pretty
sway
creepy. Yeah, it
part.
sounds like a kid's thing.
Yeah, which like kind of shows like how like he's like a lot younger than most people in the cast and how like he's just generally a lot more scared and inexperienced compared to everyone else.
And then Pierce the Light, saving Rukia was compared to a star in an earlier poem. And then this is the closest we get to saving Rukia. It's when Ginjo fails. It's when Ichigo fails. And also, just funny thing about piercing the world like light. This is the volume where Uryu fights Mayuri. He doesn't win this volume, but it's where he fights him.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then I think the best one is Will It Be Us or The Sky That Falls. It's kind of the whole thing of like when Ichigo, him helping Ichigo with their plans to dismantle Soul Society, because that's what the swaying is, the unease in Soul Society.
Yeah.
He's basically asking, isn't going to end with him and all of his friends getting executed, or will the sky, Soul Society as a whole, topple first?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Also, I don't like it as much as the ones in Kubo.
No, I think that's fine. I think that's still
all
good.
right. This
All right,
one.
Kira,
All right. All right. This is just like a phrase.
yeah, no, but Kira's also an edgy fucking. I just keep practicing saying goodbye to you. Thank you, Kira.
Look at all the black on this volume cover. Holy shit.
Oh, he's so edgy. All right. That's cool for a couple reasons, because as we learn later with Kira, he does have, like, an obsession with death, and this volume kind of explores that. Because, like, that's one interesting thing, the flashback of Momo, Renji, and Kira, POV's Momo and Kira the most. Renji's just kind of fucking there. And just how often do I have to keep practicing saying goodbyes? Practicing is cool because it shows that not only does he have to say goodbye a lot, like when he and Renji got separated, practicing is
he's like
he's preparing for it.
Yeah, like he's dreading it.
And I think part of that is comes from his conflict with Gin, where he wants to respect Gin, he wants to like Gin, because like he's a Gin simp the way Hisagi is a Toshiro simp, because and same with Momo with Aizen, they each latched onto a different captain that saved them that night.
Yeah.
But the problem is with Gin, and he like even when he's blocked Momo, he's really fucking conflicted about it, because one, he likes Momo. And two, he kind of can tell his captain's in the wrong, but he's like steeled to defend his captain.
Yeah, so like he's kind of dreading like, oh no, I might have to say goodbye to Gin, and oh no, Momo's being reckless and like might get herself killed. Oh no.
It's kind of both, where it's like if Momo's too reckless and jumps Gin, I have to fight Momo, or if Gin snaps first, I have to fight Gin. Yeah. Kira's in a shitty space right now. The poor man. Haha, you get to do Hitsuga. Do a Sonic impression.
I was about to do that! Ah! The mane of the sun pouring down erases the footprints on thin ice. Do not fear deception. The world already lies atop deception. Come on, step it up.
This is actually kind of high. This is like is one of the poems that's like some of them have been bad POV so far, like Kira. But this isn't just like I'm depressed. This is outwardly like you like Byakuya's was wrong and Kenpachi's is kind of wrong. This one is very wrong. This is basically outlining why he loses to Aizen.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, obviously the last part's, like, about how, like, he's already, like, alright, something's up with Soul Society right now. Something's up with Gin. Something's up with Gin. There's some deception going on here, and, like, that's kind of what this bomb is about, like, him. But this is where he fights Gin, right?
Yeah, this one? Yeah, this is the one where he fights Gin for a little bit. And then it's also the Kaien flashback, which was a deception, and Ginjo, not Ginjo. So it's the Kaien flashback, so it's also kind of like, us learning the deception of, because we as readers were deceived because we were told that Rukia killed Kaien. Not really. Pretty cool. Also, Kenpachi starts captains. No, but I think it's cool because it does kind of show his problem where he's like the way of the world, where like sun pouring down erases footprints. Don't fear deception. Already lies atop it. He's like this. He's so footprints, so trails, both true and false, just kind of fade away anyway. Don't worry about deception. Everyone's a fucking liar. Just ball, which is basically his idea, and he gets farther than everyone else when it comes to uncovering what's going on. But the problem is because he decides to just be absolute in his confidence, he does fail in the end because he assumed it was Gin, and that was technically not wrong, but technically not right.
Yeah. All right.
I like it more than Urahara, but that's whatever.
Okay.
Ah, Yoruichi's, why is yours so fucking long? Okay. What the fuck do you do for Yoruichi? I can do a seductress voice. I am a man. And not a very seductive man either. No, I'm not doing. No, we're not doing. No, it does. Okay. Red like blood, white like, red like solitude, white like science, red like the senses of a beast, white like the heart of a god, red like molten hatred, white like chilling cries of pain, red like the shadows that feed on the night, like a sigh piercing the moon. It shines white and shatters red. There's a lot there, Yoruichi.
Yeah, it is a really long one. Oh, gee. I remember when I first saw this one, I didn't know how to make heads or tails of it.
I think you can kind of, like, red like blood, white like bone kind of just feels like, oh, she's from the Assassin Squad. Red like solitude, white like silence, kind of like, oh, they were kicked from Soul Society, dude. And they had to be silent about it.
The way I think this goes, I think the red and the white, they're supposed to be basically the same thing or something like linked to each other intrinsically.
Yeah,
but but the red one's supposed to make it sound like negative, while the white one's supposed to make like putting a positive spin on it, like solitude, silence, like solitude, like being an assassin living in the shadows, you know, kind of.
Well, the main one for good and bad is shines white, shatters red, scatters red, where it's both.
Yeah, and then like white like silence is like, oh, like silence is like you know, it's virtuous to be like silent and in the dark and in alone. Red like the senses of a beast, and so oh, you know, you kill people, you that's what you do for a living, a kind of shitty thing to do. But white like the heart of a god, like, oh, your heart's completely like empty, and white like, you know, it's kind of noble that you do that and you clear out your emotions for the sake of the mission.
No, but here's how I would read it, as like, you know, way. If you just want to read Yoruichi, it's like a bone blood assassin thing. Solitude, silence, had to leave the soul side and be quiet about why. Sense of a beast, heart of a god. I don't think that applies to Yoruichi specifically. But you know what all of this does apply to?
What?
The fights this volume. Because the fights this volume are Renji Byakuya, which, you know, even if
Renji has white hair and Byakuya has a white scarf. I get it.
Renji has red hair.
That's what I said.
No, it's Renji. No, it's Renji, and then it's also Kenpachi versus the captains, which you can apply this to pretty easily, actually, because the whole thing of like, because if you want to do red like senses of a beast and white like heart of a god, that gives real Kenpachi versus Tosin energy.
That does give real.
And because
how did I not notice that?
And guess what? They're supposed to be the same thing. And shocker, Tosin is very bloodthirsty, just like Kenpachi. He just hides it. Or like red like molten hatred, white like chilling cries of pain. That's a lot like the Kenpachi. That's a lot like how Kenpachi fights and how Tosin fights. Actually, that whole thing is a lot like Tosin. Red like molten hatred, white like chilling cries of pain. That's how Tosin feels, and that's how he takes it out on others. And then notably, she says red like shadows that feed on the night, and then like a sigh piercing. So she actually doesn't do red white; she does red twice. And then, you know, sigh piercing the moon, your dream, are like the unattainable. A sigh is kind of just like how like just like a kind of like neutral, almost giving up on it sound can be enough to pierce the hope you were reaching towards. Yeah. Pretty cool. I do think it's a bit too messy to be great.
Yeah. It's really long. It's so weird how it's cool that this kind of applies to like Tosin and Kenpachi's fight, but like if this is supposed to be Yoruichi's poem, why is she commenting on a fight she never saw? It's a little weird.
But it's yeah. No, I mean all of them kind of apply to a lot though. For Yoruichi, I guess the other way you could read it is senses of a beast is how she acts. And you could say heart of a god could be her pressures of supposed to be the head of one of the noble houses.
Yeah, that's true. You could apply it that way
Mol-
too.
Molten Hatred, Cries of Pain. You could apply that again to the fact that she was in the Assassin Squad. Shadows that feed on the night. That just sounds hollow. Gonna be transparent. We're being kind of stupid about this poem. We're probably missing shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Gonna
yeah.
be- oh, yeah, and also other thing, shocker, the poem translations aren't perfect, so we're probably missing a lot with all of these.
Alright, hold on. Translate Rosa Rupert Kundwar and Lilio Candidior.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
that's what we're
exactly.
missing.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah. Translations aren't perfect, so like, that. Hey, I like Soul.
Hey,
I
it's
got
Soi
Soi
Fon.
Fon and Bleach Brave Souls recently. She's such a good unit.
Ah, cool. I'm glad you have a
Anyway,
I'm glad you have a gambling addiction. Uh
I don't spend money.
Sure you don't. Okay. All right. Your shadow quietly, like vagrant poison needle, stitches my footsteps. Your radiance, lively, like lightning striking a water tower, cuts down the source of my life.
Shocker, this is about Yoruichi and how she left her.
Yeah. It's like your shadow quietly, because like she's basically her shadow because she follows her, she does everything she wants her to do. She's her servant. Stitching my footsteps is about like how she
and
was left behind. She
Vagrant,
wasn't able to
yeah.
follow.
And then
Uh,
Vagrant Poison Needles kind of shows that even though Soy Phone does like it, even she understands it's like not a great relationship.
yeah. And, lightning is Yoruichi's element, and striking a water tower cuts down the source of my life, like how Yoruichi leaving her kind of messed her up, and she didn't like that.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, it's
bad.
pretty clearly about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then if you want to bring up another kind of fun thing, this is shocker. The first half of this volume, or like a lot of this volume, is that fight. But the other big fight this volume, also Ichigo saves Rukia in the volume for one, so that's fun. But also, it has Ukitake and Kyoraku versus Yamamoto, which I feel like does kind of have vibes from this poem.
Oh, it does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit.
All right. Next is another Ichigo one.
Oh, I get to do Ichigo again. I'm gonna change my voice. All right.
You have to do Bankai
No,
Ichigo voice now.
no, nothing can change my world. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Also, also all of these have little images above them, which you haven't mentioned yet. The image for this one is a black, almost full moon.
Yeah. Almost full moon.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this one, despite how short it is super meaningful to Bleach.
Yeah, it's kind of like the first poem.
Mm-hmm. There's no nothing can change my world kind of shows because like Orihime has a line where she says Rukia changed Ichigo's world, which while like in a vague she changed the way he sees things is not literally true in the sense that Ichigo's world does not change, it expands.
Yeah, like he just learns
Because
to see more of it basically, because like
yeah,
in the beginning of the series, he already had like the Quincy, the Hollow, the Soul Reaper stuff in him. It's just that he's slowly learning more and more about it as like the series goes on.
yeah. And his world is because again, Ichigo is the world, that's why Ichigo has a part of everything. So when he goes to Soul Society and they try to force their rules on him, they are trying to change his world by changing the way he treats the world. So, Ichigo, by saying nothing can change my world, is essentially saying the Soul Society's rules will not change how I think. I will not change. I will win. And shocker, this is the volume where he fights Byakuya and achieves Bankai. Very good.
All right, ooh, Gin. Gin has a nice one.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. You can see Gein's eyes in this, which you don't see very often.
All right, those who do not know what love is liken it to beauty. Those who claim to know what love is liken it to ugliness.
This is probably the most like
Did
negative.
the mic pick up the
Yes, you were
all right,
hissing.
all right, all
Yes,
right.
you were
Thank you,
hissing.
thank you.
This is one of I think this is the most obvious example of poem where the character is very wrong.
Yeah. So like obviously this is kind of like the first peek into like Gein's motivations that we get.
Yeah, because we don't actually see what Gein means by this until way fucking later.
Yeah.
Like early on, like when you read it, you're like, oh, Gein's like an edgy idiot, and he's talking about like the love everyone has for each other. Like Hitsugaya wanting to protect his childhood friend, Renji wanting to protect his childhood friend, Ichigo wanting to protect Rukia, the Yamamoto wanted to protect the Soul Society. And he's like, that's an ugliness, because we're using that to our advantage in the chaos to win, you fucking idiots. That's what it comes as across. But then later we learn, no, he's just talking about his own gripes with Rengiku.
Yeah, because like he knew love, and someone who he loved was hurt. That kind of like put him on a path to revenge for the rest of his life, and kind of not the happy situation to be in. I could see how he described that situation as ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically he views it as his love for Rengiku is what's pushing him to act this way. Because Gin was a prodigy, and quite literally, if he went on a normal path, he would have been like their generation's Hitsugaya.
Pretty much.
Which is why it's, yeah.
All
Oh
right.
shit, we're done with Soul Society.
Woohoo! Oh no, we're past all the good poems now, because everything good about Bleach was in Soul Society.
Oh,
Sorry,
hey, fun thing with Shinji. Fun thing with Shinji. His picture is upside down here because, of course, it is. Everything in this world exists to wear you down. That's fun.
Yeah, he's just a big cynic when we meet him, and pretty much for the rest of the series. So like, he's
Which
just
makes sense.
Yeah, been through a lot of shit in his time.
Even before you could say that, because he views his assistant captain back when he's captain correctly as this annoying little shit he always needs to be suspicious of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shinji just basically views everything as something you have to fight against, which is pretty cool because we've talked about how Shinji kind of represents the Vizards, and you could say that kind of represents their place in the world now that they can't go back to Soul Society. The fact that they have hollows inside of them that they have to fight against, stuff like that.
Yeah. Very simple, but it's very simple. I don't think it's like as powerful as some of the other shorter ones like Ichigo.
No, I don't. I think it's the weakest short poem we've had so far.
Yeah.
I like how Soi Fon's is low because it's too simple.
Yeah.
So you're just like, yeah, that sure is how she feels about Yoruichi.
Yeah, I want to put a little lower.
That's
sorry,
so
Soi Fon. Sorry, Soi Fon.
A small thing about the cover. Soi Fon looked like that in the fucking original anime. People would be a lot nicer to her.
Oh yeah, sure. Dude. Oh man, I also want to put it higher just because that volume cover is nice.
But unironically, I do believe that people would like her more if she had that design the whole series.
Yeah, probably. I'm just imagining 12-year-old me look at Gu like, whoa. Oh, all right. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's the first Ulquiorra poem. Fell.
There is no meaning to our world. There is no meaning to those of us living there. We meaningless beings ponder the world, though the realization of meaninglessness itself means nothing. I like it.
Basically, the way I view the Espada is they all hyper represent one of the aspects of being a hollow.
Yeah. Because like hollows are like they're called hollow because like they're empty inside, and they like yearn to fill that hole with something. All of them yearn for different things. But like Ulquiorra, when we meet him, is just kind of like the most hollow because like he just seems to be like completely empty and emotionless and like doesn't respond to anything at all and doesn't like sort of chase anything. Like we see like someone like Grimmjow is like really aggressive and like
what's funny
tries
is
to
I think
pick fights and stuff
Grimmjow
like
is
that.
the second most hollow because while Ulquiorra represents the emptiness, Grimmjow represents, I would say, the drive
thirst,
to fill
the thirst.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super good. And then it's just a very good way to set up that not only does he look angsty, he is angsty.
Yeah, I know, but I like the last line, the realization of meaninglessness itself means nothing, because he, like, obviously, he, like, his whole beef with, like, Ichigo and Orihime, like, how he likes to put holes in people in the same places, is, like, he likes to, for some reason or other, he likes to make other people feel as empty as he is, but, like, according to his own logic, making other people realize that things are meaningless is itself meaningless. So, like, why would you do that if it's meaningless, Ulquiorra? I don't know. You kind of seem like a bit of a hypocrite, Ulquiorra. Seems like you actually do want something out of life, even if it is just trying to make other people feel empty.
Yeah,
I like it.
Oh fuck! Ikkaku's one of the only sub characters that I know the voice of. So no, Ikkaku, you bitch! Why is this so long?
Here we go.
Ikkaku, absolute bastard.
Ikkaku the poet. Ikkaku the muse.
Ikkaku poet. It's bitch. I like how short Grimmjow. Here's the thing: Grimmjow is short, which I believe. Grimmjow doesn't know what poetry is.
I do love to imagine, like, for a second that, like, all the poems are, like, diegetic and, like, so they,
Yeah, like,
they
the
writ
character
these
has to
down.
go write them down.
Could we-
We are the fish in front of the waterfall. We are the insects inside the cage. We are the ruins of the billows. How about we are the skull on the cross. On the what? The crossier? What's that word? I'm stupid. I'm a dumb guy. Crossier. We'll look it up. The force of the torrent and the whale that drinks it. We are the five-horned bull. We are the fire-breathing monster. And the screaming child. Oh, we are poisoned by the moonlight. Here's the thing. Unlike Yoruichi's, which is long and hurts my brain, this is long and makes complete sense. This can match my dumb guy brain. Fish in front of the waterfall, insects inside the cage. Fish in front of the waterfall is like his desire to always grow stronger to match Kenpachi.
Yeah,
but insect inside the cage is like about his Bankai and how, like, despite his need to grow and how he is the first vice captain we know besides later Yamamoto's to achieve Bankai, because he had it longer than Renji is kind of the implication.
Yeah.
But he can't use it because he's caged inside his own love of Kenpachi.
Dude, he was a magic card, but he was forced to be a metapod.
And then we are the ruins of the billows, skull in the crosshair, the force of the torrent, and the force of the torrent and the whale that drinks it. This is basically just like we are the pain and suffering, and we have to thrive in it because he's from the battle company. I think the vice captains, and he's basically the vice captain, are all about like portraying their companies, and I think this does a good job at that. Same with this. We are the five-horned bull. What is a five-horned bull? I don't know that. That means something. What is a five?
I'm guessing by like the next line.
Shinto fuck.
Guessing by the next line, I just imagine it's like some sort of like symbol of like aggression or like some demon or whatever.
Aha! The bull with 5 horns is a mythical sea creature. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, but what about it? What about it? Is it good? Is it bad? Fucking whatever.
I really like the last line of the poem.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's definitely the best one because then we are the five-horned bull, we are the fire-breathing monster, and screaming children. Kind of shows how both they are mythical upholding creatures. Is what I'm going to assume the five-horned bull is. And then fire-breathing monster is they are both terrifying and screaming children. They are just people. And we are poisoned by the moonlight is so cool because of what moons mean in Bleach.
Yeah, no, the big unobtainable goal, like he wants to reach it, but like he can't. He feels like it's a burden on him, even though he wants to go, but he also feels like he can't go because he doesn't want to show people his Bankai because he wants to stay a third seat.
He's poisoned by the moonlight because quite literally the goal to strive to be close to Kenpachi, he is so close, but that goal is poisoning him because he can't use his power, and he almost fucking dies fighting a bitch-ass Arrancar. Because he takes too long to use Bankai.
Yeah. Dude, his own ambition is... He feels like his own ambition is, like, weighing on his shoulders.
He doesn't do that well against the Arrancar even after he Bankais, is because the poison is... Ikkaku, despite having Bankai, I assume, doesn't get much opportunity to train with it, even though that's essential.
Yeah. Because, again, he doesn't want anyone to see it, but, like, in order to, you know, train with it, assumably he'd have to fight someone.
Yeah. And he can't fight anyone else with a Bankai, that's for sure. And looking at how his Bankai works, I don't think it's like Byakuya, where you could just, like, train by yourself for at least a little bit. You need a fucking opponent. Alright.
Alright, Grimmjow. Break down! Every single one of you! My name is Grimmjow! Grimmjow Jabberjacks!
It's the most in-character poem, because this is what would happen if you made Grimmjow write a poem and he didn't understand what he was doing.
You just write one sentence and be done with it.
Yeah, and then it's that's what Grimmjow wants. Grimmjow wants to break down everyone. I think this is intentionally incomplete because when Grimmjow resurrections, he gets like a new poem. Same with Ulquiorra. Their resurrection poems basically show their like fully complete beliefs. Yeah. Because early on, it's just Grimmjow being like, I want to tear shit down, I want to break shit down. But the thing is, one is he tells them to, which is Grimmjow's whole thing of he's like, I am the king. He's not just saying it, he is commanding it. And every single one of you, so he's talking to a group, which is pretty meaningful with Grimmjow.
Yeah.
Cool thing.
Yeah. All
Yo,
right.
let's
Yo,
go.
you get another long one.
Oh my fucking this Puff in the volume. This one is so long. They made the text smaller. They didn't do that for any other.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at it right now.
We are all born dead. The end exists before anything begins. If living is a constant question for awareness, the awareness we gain at the end of is the real goal. In other words, death is the discovery and complete understanding of the end. We are not permitted to seek awareness. Those that cannot transcend death will not find awareness in anything. Good poem. Thank you, White
Neato
Zangetsu.
burrito.
And this is shocker. This is the
What
volume
a
where he has to fight.
blabbermouth! Oh my god.
To be fair, he does love lecturing Ichigo. He fucking loves doing that. I think it's very good. We're all born dead. Pretty simple. Everyone dies. Yada yada. With him, you could say it's kind of cool because he was born as the hollow powers inside Ichigo, so he was literally born dead.
Yeah, and the end exists before anything begins because
Yeah.
it's predetermined. There's no escaping it.
Yeah. And then he says living is the constant sense or awareness. Basically, you're not alive if you're not conscious, which is like him fighting for control of Ichigo's body. He wants to be living via Ichigo's body. So then the awareness we gain at the end is the real goal. So basically the goal of life is awareness, which also kind of ties into Ichigo where he needs to understand himself internally.
Yeah.
In other words, death. But he's also saying that awareness is death, as in dying is the ultimate awareness. Blah, blah, blah. It's all a cycle. Thank you, Zangetsu. He also says discovery and complete understanding is that of the end. But and then he says we're not permitted to seek awareness. Those that cannot transcend death will not find awareness in anything. So basically, you have to go beyond fear of death and death itself. You have to find more in life than that. Thank you, Zangetsu, because he kind of represents that within Ichigo. Ichigo has to go beyond that when he fights him.
No
Haha, you
shaking
get to do
throne.
Luppi.
All right, let's do it.
I like Luppi more than you do.
The voice that pierces deep into my chest is like a never-ending cheer.
That's cool because he's a hollow, so in his chest is his hollow hole.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
the
not a
voice
big fan
thrust
of this, if
into
I'm
it.
being honest.
I disagree. You've read the novel. You get what this means.
Yeah, dude, he's like Grimmjow. He has this internal thirst for destruction and stuff.
No,
And
what
like,
I like is the voice that pierces deep into his chest is like a never-ending cheer. Which I think the best way to read that is the thing he does to fill the hole in his heart is
like make
pain
fun of
and
other people and like giggling and
torture other people,
gaffing at
make
them.
fun of other people, and that to him is a cheer. It's pretty generic. It's basically just a very flowery way of him saying he's a fucking asshole, which he is.
Yeah.
That it is a flowery way of him saying I am a prick.
I am so surprised this guy got a poem.
It's because he matters, okay? Thank you very much. I like that he got one when a lot of long-term is spotted.
I like how he got one when someone like say Uryu's dad never did.
Oh, are you fucking shitting me, Orihime? I hate you. Why is this so long? Okay. We have not one in common, not two are shaped alike. The third, because of that eye we lack. In the fourth direction, there is no hope. The fifth is at the heart. Thank you, Orihime.
Ooh, dude, we got like a little structure here where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow.
Also, the volume has a hand, so you could see the fingers as part of that.
Yeah, like almost like a hand on a window. It's like a reflection.
Yeah, and this is the volume where she says goodbye to Ichigo.
Yeah.
It's also where she gets kidnapped by the Quincy's. So not one in common. You could
You
view
mean the
that as
Rancor,
her.
not the Quincy's.
Yeah, oops. So not one in common because of how Ichigo parallels the Arrancar. You could say this applies basically to just like the sense of battle, liking battle, being good at battle, needing to battle. You could say that's one of the not in commons.
Yeah.
Or just how even early on, Tatsuki always.
Yeah, Tatsuki, like, why do you like that guy?
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of a
he's
a freak,
idiot.
punk freak. Like, why do you like him when you're like such a pretty, nice, polite girl?
Oh, and one thing about the poem structure, because you poor people, we're so mean you can't see them. We are bad people unless Puff puts them on screen, which I don't think he will, because that'd be a lot of editing.
No, that's fine. Whatever, I'll try.
It is we have not one in common, not two that. Each one is its own separate line. Creates the idea of like space in it. Like even though we're told they don't have one in common, not one and in common in their own lines, kind of challenging that thought. And then not two are shaped alike. Yeah, kind of the same as the last
pretty
one.
straightforward.
The third, because the eye we lack, just the inability to see everything, to see the things other people can see, shit like that. Like this is literally the one where she hovers over Ichigo, who is the man who was special for being able to see everything, can't see her. You can even see through Aizen's illusions.
Yeah.
And then direction, there is no hope. That's because
That's
she has to
Ulquiorra,
turn
baby.
away. Yeah,
That's
she has to
Ulquiorra.
turn away from Ichigo and her friends and go to the direction with Ulquiorra.
See, this poem's literally just about how Ulquiorra is cucking Ichigo, because Ulquiorra canonically wants to fuck Orihime, as every hardcore Bleach fan understands.
That's very true. No, but yeah, and then is fifth at the heart. That part's cool because the heart is at both ends. The heart is both with Ichigo, with her friends, and with Ulquiorra, because the heart is the bond between two people.
Yeah.
Yo, it's this guy.
Yo, Mr. Tornado Legs. My lord, we look at you
parallel.
as we might look at a peacock. You are framed by something sublime, similar to hope, worship, and fear. So, like, he's obviously talking about Aizen, right?
Yeah, that's his lord.
You know, we look at a peacock. Obviously, peacocks are these big, like, extravagant, like awesome birds. And, you know, you're framed by something sublime, something to hope, worship, and fear. How, like, all the Arrancar, they follow Aizen out of, like, either sincere admiration or just pure fear because they know Aizen can kill them, like, anytime they want.
Or the hope, I think, is, like, what he fights for. The hope to be able to become an Espada.
Yeah, or like how a lot of Arrancar kind of like support Aizen and hoping that, like, you know, they can like actually like establish some like Orin Waco Mundo and like make a life for themselves somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically he just exists here to represent the general belief Hollows have under Aizen.
Yeah.
Like a peacock is cool, because Peacock even implies that even though Aizen is stronger than them, they do look at him as different and also kind of weird and lesser than. Like, sure, his power is beautiful and crazy, but kind of like how a peacock is beautiful, but also, it's just a fucking bird. Just like Aizen's just a fucking human. What's this bitch human doing here, showing up all of us? Which is how Barragan feels. Barragan fucking hates Aizen. It's cool. Alright, Sursui.
Alright.
Have we seen?
Alright, honestly,
she is the two-parter.
Yeah, this is the only poem that's a two-parter, and it's fucking great. Honestly, I feel like this poem punches way above its weight for the character they gave it to.
Endlessly adorned, knowing it'll be cut off. Endlessly polished, knowing it will be cut off. They are terrifying, fall. The hair flutters to the ground. A light are beautiful ornaments. So why do they seem so baleful when removed? The answer is simple. They are previews of what is to come, of death.
Alright, I feel like in isolation, this is like the best poem.
I don't agree with that.
I really like it. I just feel like it was such like a neat observation that like these things that we do associate with beauty are only beautiful as long as they're attached to us, but as soon as like, you know, they like die and fall off, you know, like it subconsciously does remind us we're disgusted by them. And, you know, a reason for that might be because, oh, they're dead. That happens sooner or later to everything. Like, all things are temporary. And, you know, even our own beauty will soon fade sooner or later. Like, our beauty will even fade before our lives do.
Yeah. And then for her, that applies to, like, one, she lost her place as an Espada. And then also her fight is Uryu slowly, like, chipping away at her abilities. And as he does so, he gets closer to winning.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Cool. It is really good. I like it.
Well, it's Kaien.
Alright, Kaien, who is just Ichigo. So I'll do an Ichigo voice. This wound lies deep, like the ocean floor. The sin is red, growing paler in death. You see, because he's really the Espada talking. Because this is the Espada he is now. He's an Espada now.
Yeah.
So I switched it up at the last second.
Yeah, it's a trick. I do like how this poem's cool because you can't quite tell if it's referring to Kaien or the Espada.
Yeah.
Because
Uh,
the wound lies deep like the ocean floor. For one, Kaien has water powers, and the wound lies deep is like, Rukia literally killed him.
yeah.
But then
But
the sin is red, growing paler in death. That is like, oh, that's the Espada talking to Rukia.
yeah. And you could even say that going from like red to paler, like to going to white, like oh, hollow masks are white, and that's what goes over whenever someone becomes a hollow, they obtain a hollow mask which is white, and kind of removes like what made them alive is that like their blood and shit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, we had another poem about red and white. That was Yoruichi's.
All
No, but
right.
this is about the red turning to white, which is kind of like if the red is like the more serious, worse sounding one, and the white represents like the less severe but still true one. It's basically as time passes and the red, so like the horror of what Rukia did kind of fades. She starts to understand the truth about Kaien and everything that happened with him.
Yeah. She stops blaming herself less and less as time goes on.
I don't know how to say this guy's name.
Neither do I. I'll just call him Pink Mayuri.
It's like Szayelaporro. And then what's his? Tell me you hate me more than anything in the world. That's how confidently. Look at him on that volume. What is he doing?
He is grabbing his shirt and pulling it because he's a
No,
sexy
look at
boy.
his eyes. Can't see it very well.
So really short. Kind of just seems like it also feels like Luppi's were just like, hey, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, no, with hit, yeah, it's kind of similar. Where it's just a fancy way of Loopy saying that he fills the void in himself by torturing people. With him, um, I think his is kind of just like the gloatingness of like I am perfect. I think Loopy's is definitely better.
Yeah, no, without a
He's at least
doubt.
Loopy's is at least interesting. Loopy's looks good. No, this one is pretty simple because it's just like it's kind of his gloatness because he views himself as perfection and as such he wants all others to hate what they're looking upon because it's something they cannot defeat.
Yeah. Alrighty,
Pretty good,
Rooney.
pretty
Let's get to an
fine, whatever.
actual fucking poem.
And it's the true Grimmjow poem.
The king runs, shaking off his shadows, his armor clanking, scattering bones, tasting flesh and blood, crushing groaning hearts, stepping in alone to a distant beyond. All right,
This
so
is basically
yeah,
the sequel. This is basically him getting what he wanted in the first poem.
yeah. When he's sort of before break down all of you, that's because Grimmjow's ultimate goal is to consume other people in order to become stronger, so that he become like the perfect king that he wants to be, like the
Yeah,
strongest hollow. So
yeah,
shaking off his shadows is like him eating his followers, leaving them behind so that he can become stronger.
yeah,
His armor clanking, scattering blows, tasting flesh and blood. Just him just describing him in battle, and tasting flesh and
yeah.
blood as he's consuming other hollows,
And
crushing
then
groaning,
stepping in alone. Yeah,
crushing groaning
it's
hearts is
based.
like he's crushing the other like basically crushing up the other personalities of
Yeah.
hollows as he ingests them and ending their
Yeah, I
lives.
think this poem is really interesting because you could almost read it as Grimmjow describing, because we don't actually see him kill his friends. You could read this as him describing that event.
Yeah. Oh, and then
I like it.
stepping in alone to a distant beyond is but the way he describes it's like there's something like a little scary about going in alone, but still it's romantic enough that it's something that he wants.
Yeah. Well, and the distant beyond in Hueco Mundo, we know what that is.
Yeah.
And then Shocker, this is the fight where this is the chapter where volume where he loses to Ichigo. Shocking.
Oh no,
Oh, let's
Grimmjow
go.
lost.
I get my
What?
fucking guy. I get my fucking guy.
All
We
right.
are all insects, parasitic worms writhing in malicious constancy. Soaring past the moon you look up to, until you are pathetic creatures no longer visible.
All right. So Noitor's whole thing is that he views like
Hey,
everyone.
Puff, this might be your favorite example of I'm a dick who likes being above other people. Because
Yes,
that's also
yes,
what
yes,
this one
yes. It
is.
is, but also it's kind of like how Naruto also kind of views himself as an insect, but like he wants to
Because he says we
rise.
are.
Yeah, but he wants to like rise above it and like say, no, I'm better than you people. I'm stronger than you people. He wants to be the strongest, specifically so he can look down at other people.
I like the uses of we and you. where he says, "We are all pathetic insects," but he soars past their moon, not his, which you can see in the symbolism, where he always fights with crescent moons, and there's like a lot of symbolism of him reaching up, but not quite reaching a crescent moon, where he may surpass like the moon Nell looks up to, but he doesn't reach his own moon. And
Yeah.
then up until you pathetic creatures are no longer visible, even though he is an insect, because he strives for greater things than them, he views himself above other insects. He's like, I'm scum, but you're scummier because you're a woman. Because
Either
no
because you're a
Ikkaru, and he's
woman,
sex-
or you lack ambition, or you happen to be weaker than me. For whatever reason, I hate you. And he's like just a petty little guy, and he hates everyone. He's so cool. I love him. uh, all right. Nell. If you were to give me wings, I would fly for you, even if this entire land were to sink underwater. If you were to give me a sword, I would stand up and fight for you, even if this entire sky were to pierce you with its light.
All right,
So,
I
like,
think
this is obviously
interesting.
describing, like, her wanting to protect Ichigo.
And also her little goons and how she is very protective of like other people. And I think part of that is because remember how each espada represents like a type of death?
Yeah?
One of the only ones I remember is that the number 3, who used to be Nell and is now Halibel, represents sacrifice.
Yeah, so I imagine Nell's like, and like even like Nell was willing to like, follow Nnoitra to protect him because like she said that like he's like, why do you
Yeah.
keep following me? Why do you keep bugging me? It's like, oh, because you're weaker than me. So like she clearly wants to fill the hole that she has by just like protecting other people and sort of just playing like a protector role because like it gives her like some sense of meaning in life. Or like even
Yeah.
like how like she's against like violence between other Roncar because like no, we should all just like be cool and vibe and be nice to each other because we have intelligence again and it's like a miracle we have that.
Oh, and another cool matching other volumes thing. This is also the volume where the captains come and save everyone. And it's also the whole Byakuya fight. So it's the captains coming and saving people. So they are the protectors.
Yeah.
The fight that doesn't end this volume, ironically, is Kenpachi's, because he is the least protector out of that group.
Kubo, did you plan that whole thing?
Pup, you're not going to be here tomorrow, right?
Nope. Probably not. Okay, so we got Mayuri.
Okay, let me grab him. Come here, Mayuri. All right. Born in fall is the same as death.
So he seems to just
He's a
be saying,
scientist, so he always needs to grow and adapt.
yeah.
Stagnation is death. And you'd even see that with his Bankai, which is like a baby. He has the baby that he has born for the sake of surpassing his enemy. And for him, if that Bankai were to be born and then it falls, that would be his death. Because his Bankai represents his growth as a scientist.
Yeah.
And we even get that where like in his final fight with the hand, his Bankai does fail, and then someone does die. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. So
Shinji got a second one very
the thing,
quickly.
I'm not sure if this is Shinji because like the picture above it is clearly not Shinji. It almost looks like Aizen from behind.
What? That's Shinji. Are you a dork?
Is it?
Oh,
Because it
you mean
has
the
short
one
hair.
above? The one above is Aizen.
Yeah. So like it could be
That's
either
but
maybe.
oh, you think it's Aizen looking at shit? Oh, what it kind of looks like is the front looks like Aizen looking at Shinji, and then the inside looks at Shinji looking at Aizen when he walks away.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is still too early to believe. I'm actually not
That
sure
also
about what
just
I think about this one.
I'm not sure. I'm not. I kind of like that. It's hard to tell who's talking right now.
Yeah.
It's
So
still
this
too early to
is so
believe,
this
and
is
then
this is like the turn back. Yeah, this is turn back the pendulum flashback.
yeah, this is during turn back the pen. So it's still too early to believe that could be viewed from either character's POV. It could be Aizen smugly telling Shinji that you've known me since I was in my mother's womb, but you don't, you stupid fucking idiot. but you could also just as easily view it as Shinji losing and realizing it's too early for him to believe. Do not put Luppi that low. The Luppi poem is the best thing in Kubo Yugai.
Fine,
I didn't
fine.
like Luppi, but that's still a good poem. um, yeah, Shinji one's fine. It's just like, yeah. I think this one more so comes across as like menacing because it's during the shitty flashback where
Yeah,
everyone's
it
doing
does.
shit.
That's one thing I kind of like about these poems is that like they're like a thing
They
to
set the
hype you
tone
up.
for the volume.
Yeah, they hype you up for the rest of the volume, and I think this does a good job of that. Even if I'm not sure if there's like too much like to be gleamed from it.
Yeah. All right. Next. All right.
All right,
Next is Yumichika.
all right. People are
People are not
beautiful.
beautiful to me. It's
Wait,
mine, you
it's your turn.
bitch. I do odd numbers. How have you not picked up on that
Oh,
yet?
sorry, I forgot.
People are not beautiful to me, but flowers are. People are only like flowers when they are cut down. I like this because it kind of shows why Yumichika is in the 11th Company.
Yeah, you know he likes to. He thinks people are beautiful when they die and are killed.
Yeah, he likes fucking them up. It also kind of shows how it also shows that to him people are like most beautiful when they're pushed to the brink. Which is not only true for like Ikkaku, where he really likes Ikkaku's final fight, it's also true for him because it's only when he's on the brink of death that he gets to activate his ultimate power. It also shows why he likes his power. Because he says people are beautiful when they are cut down. But Yumichika's ultimate power doesn't even cut.
Yeah, it just absorbs your spirit energy, but then it also like blooms flowers at the same time. So like it's a little.
So even though it's supposed to look beautiful, to him it is not. He doesn't
Yeah.
like that power.
And,
We can just finish. No. For how far we go, we're pretty close. We can just finish Arankar and then do the rest another time.
all right. There's only
Hey, it's
one thing.
Hisagi.
Yeah. There is only one thing to fear: to become a warrior without fear. Because you
That's
know,
literally just what Tosin taught him.
yeah, you know, it's literally just like, oh, those who do not fear their swords do not deserve to wield them, and that you know, if you're going to fight for something, you have to understand how terrifying violence is, because peace should be the end goal of all violence. Like, there should
Yeah.
not necessary violence is the only violence that should be tolerable. Is basically what the meaning of the poem.
Yeah. And then and then this volume is Hisagi's fight, and then the captain's beginning to step in.
Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
All right. Now this one's
It's
interesting.
my
This
favorite character.
This one is interesting because of the character saying it.
Because he can't talk.
No, this is this only line in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna talk like to err is human, to kill is evil. You don't know what it sounds. I can that. This basically shows like
kill is evil.
no, you don't steal mine. Stop stealing mine.
You
It's the
already
second
said
time
it. You
tried
already
this.
said it. You already
Still
said
a
it.
thief. Still a thief. Still a thief. Anyway, this just pretty clearly describes like Yamamoto's feelings when he kills him. He says a creature whose only thought is to kill. How sad. It's pretty simple. Humans like Yamamoto can err and kill. Like for humans, killing is like an error, but him, all he can do is kill. That is his whole being, and it is sad and fucked up. Therefore, we need to get. He is the embodiment of Hollow's death. All he does is kill. He can't feel or think.
Yeah.
So while other people, like even other Hollows and other humans, can err by committing murder, all he can do is kill. There is no way for him to make it's basically just describing how fucked up it is to be a killing monster.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Ooh, yes. I'm so glad I got this one. Envious because I have a heart. Gluttonous because I have a heart. Greedy because I have a heart. Prideful because I have a heart. Slothful because I have a heart. Wrathful because I have a heart. Because I have a heart, I lust for all that you are.
This describes not just him. This
The
describes
pain and
not
the
just
pleasure
him.
all come together. There is no reason why.
Why are you singing 7 Other Things? Oh, I got you. Oh, you're such a fucking dork. Okay.
You actually have to think about that for a
Joke?
second.
No, I had to say it out loud to get your joke. That was dumb as shit. It was the second opening too. Alright, anyway, No, this is good because it not only represents Ulquiorra, it represents basically all of the Espada.
Yeah.
Or at least most of the Espada.
Because the thing
Like
is, even
even
though the Espada are supposed to be empty, they still have hearts, in the sense that they all end up developing relationships with each other, but also because they still want things. Ultimately, like that has to stem from an emotion of some kind. So like even
yeah.
if someone like Ulquiorra pretends like he doesn't have emotions until like the very end, he still like can't escape the fact that he has a heart to some degree.
And it basically pushes that in Bleach, these empty feelings or these empty actions and mindsets come from emptiness. Like like the idea that like greed or envy or pride or any of them come from a feeling of emptiness and trying to fill it, which is basically the argument that it's making, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
good. I like
Nnoitra is
Ulquiorra.
envious because he actually has a heart, even though he's an asshole. Uh,
Yeah.
a spot number 9, whose name I'm forgetting, is gluttonous because he has a heart and he wants to eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
So he has a heart, even though he's an asshole. Then you just go down the line.
And then yeah, Shocker, Grimmjow, and Luppi are yo, it's my guy. It's the strongest Spada. Take back what was lost. Bone. Oh, sorry. Blood, flesh, bone, and one more thing.
I like the last part because it
Honestly,
almost sounds like
that's
cat.
really good for how lame Yammy is.
Yeah, because I like the last line just because it makes it sound like very casual in the sense that Yami like legitimately forgot what the last thing was, like mid poem or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's kind of the whole thing of basically, while while Hollows fight with the innate urge inside to fill their hole and take back their bodies, there is one more thing that they're missing, which shocker, uh, is the heart.
Yep. And look, it's even called Heart. It's right on the volume cover.
Yep, it's good. I actually like it. I think for it being Yami's, it is surprisingly good.
Yami literally is just kind of a loud, obnoxious asshole through like
Oh
in
no,
every scene he's
Yami
in.
is easily the dumbest, least interesting Espada. He's just a fucking dumb jackass.
It was a hell of a plot twist, though. I'm a
Right, I
10
love it.
too.
I
Who told you the
he is.
Espada?
You keep quoting that like it's a contradiction, and it's not.
Why does he get 2 numbers?
Because he's a badass. See, number 10 is the big dumb idiot, but number 0 is the largest, strongest hollow of all time.
Who's also a dumb idiot.
Yeah, but he's big and strong now.
All right.
Halibel.
The world exists without sacrifice.
Her mask is not on in this.
All right,
Her
fine. It's
mask is
off. All
not
right, fine. It's
on
off. It's off.
volume.
Fine, fine. She does her resurrection. It's off now. No world exists without sacrifice. Do we not realize that we call this hell where the ash floats upon a sea of blood, the world?
Whoa, she called it hell. Super Eye Patch Wolf was right. Even though by this
Shit.
hell
Shit. Oh
she just
no.
means Hueco Mundo fucking
Oh
sucks.
no.
So yeah, obviously this hell where Ash floats, she's just talking about how shit Hueco Mundo is.
Yeah, every hollow has to eat other hollows to survive and to keep, like, basically keep whatever, like, power they have or even what sanity
Yeah,
they have. So, like, every
yeah.
hollow, every, like, powerful hollow or, like, a Rancor, like, exists, like, with the sacrifices of other hollows because they basically live like animals, eating one another
Yeah.
every day.
But then it's supposed to kind of apply to the world at broad as the whole point of no world exists without sacrifice. Basically, her point is that the ash that floats upon a sea of blood, the world. So everything that exists currently is remnants of destruction, the bodies of that destruction. I think it's weirdly good, again, for the second most nothing Espada.
Yeah, yeah. She is hot, though.
Yeah. Yo, it's Barragan.
Yo, my boy, my skelly boy.
Mm-hmm. Decay is my friend. Night is my servant. I wait for you in a palace of elm, while I let the crows peck at my body.
Yo,
This is basically a skeleton.
yo.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. This is just who Bargan is. Decay is my friend. This is both because that's literally his power, and also because Bargan's strength comes from basically outlasting all other hollows. Night is my servant. Kind of how he ruled Hueco Mundo back when there was no sky.
Yeah.
I wait for you in a place of elm while I let the crows peck at my body. Again, this kind of shows his ability to outlast everything, and how he waits in the palace. He waits at the end for you, as in he's waiting at death, and he will be there because he is the most death of the death boy.
Yeah, and while crows peck on my body, he's already basically dead in a large sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even
Ito
more dead now that
Borito.
Aizen took his fucking job.
All right. Ooh, Tosin. Nice. People are all evil. In order to falsely believe yourself to be just, you must inevitably falsely believe that someone else is more evil than you. I really like this
basically going mask off.
Yeah, I really like it because it's basically saying like something that kind of applies throughout a large part of the series, like morality.
Oh, do you know what this? This kind of reminds me of how like the two most notable quotes to Bleach for me when it comes to war are, I think,
War happens when both
says,
sides are evil.
Yeah, Kyoraku
Both
says
sides are just.
when war. No, it's both of those are said. Kyoraku says both sides are evil, and then I think some bozo, like third or fourth captain who gets killed, says both sides are just, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah, like most of the time, like it's just relative to where you are, and like a lot of groups in Bleach, like arguably, like aren't at more or less more than each other. Like, are the Quincy's as a whole really worse than the Soul Reapers? Not like really, like maybe Yuhabak is, but like aside from that, like
Yuhabak and a couple of his fat. But the point is, like, sure, the Quincy's have like Yuhabak and like the fascist jail guy, but we have Mayuri.
Who's not the coolest dude.
Yeah, I think it's also just the point that like basically Tosin's view is because everyone has the capacity for evil and does evil things, the justice that his dead loved one fought for is bullshit, and that's his whole thing of path of least bloodshed.
Yeah, basically
He's basically admitting that his whole idea of justice is fucking stupid because we all suck. Shut up, justice is fake.
Yeah, basically
that's Tosin's belief.
Basically, in order for like the Soul Reapers to exist and have like conviction in what they do, they have to believe that other people are evil and that like they're justified to defeat evil. As long as they call it evil, they can have the drive to continue being that. And Tosin's like, all right, that's what they do, but kind of like isn't right for them to do that. And also, I love how this comes back around with like Komamura and like his final fight, and how like he dies and becomes a stupid dog because he gave into revenge. Like at the end of the day, like he's like he's giving up his life to get revenge for Yamamoto, but like he's attacking the Quincy's who Yamamoto genocided 200 years ago. So like,
Yeah.
is he any more justified in like killing them for this reason than they were for killing Yamamoto?
What I like at the end of the Komamura fight is you have basically the two perceptions of it, where you have the dog beast who's like, you gave in to revenge, you are a beast, you will extend my life, the life of the man who creates more beasts. But then you have Tetsuzaimon, who comes and says, you were justified, what you did was right, I will keep fighting with you, because company policies, the vice captain for the company. It basically shows that both interpretations exist.
Yeah, like you can say that Komor, what you did, like you followed your heart, you tried to do everything for the man who like saved your life. There's valor in that. Also, like I kind of like took it as like cold comfort, like he's just trying to say whatever he could to like ease Komamura in like his last moments.
But I think he believes him because he is like the whole
He does look up
guy.
He does look up to Komamura a lot, and again like Komamura like is like at the very least, like you call him a noble beast at the end of the day because he tried.
I do think that is how it is. I think the dog is looking at it as a act of petty evil revenge, and Tetsuzaimon looks at it as a noble act of giving up your the Soul Society and avenging the one man you respected who didn't turn out to be Tosin.
Yeah. It's so cool.
This is the less good Yamamoto. This is the
Burnout Inferno.
No. This one is so generic. It feels like I've seen it on Facebook.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Do not tread on me, flag. Do not live bowing down. Die standing up. Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like everyone who's read that poem has heard that phrase or paraphrase somewhere before.
including in other manga. Like it fits Yamamoto well. It's just really uninteresting.
Yeah, it's just like, fight for what you believe in, pussy.
Yeah, and Yamamoto, it's like he's been standing guarding Soul Society for 1,000 years, and shocker,
He
Yamamoto
did
does
die
die
standing
standing
up.
up.
Yeah. Because
That is a fact.
he never like lost his convictions till the end, no matter how much
Yeah.
of a hypocrite he was.
You could even say it's a hint because at the end of this volume, Yamamoto on his hands and knees does his giant fireblade nuke, and he doesn't die because he was on his bowing down, but he didn't die there.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's Rangiku. Look, she's blonde. You stupid fucking anime. God, that pisses me off that they made her ginger.
But dude, I'm sure many people probably think it's hotter if you could pretend she's sisters with Orihime.
One, that's your kink. Two, no.
I never said it was my kink. I'm just saying I agree with people who say that.
You told me that like a week ago. No, I hate it. Make her blonde. God damn it. It pisses me off so much.
It is not frightening to know misfortune. What is frightening is to know lost happiness will never come back again. She's literally just talking about Gin. She's just talking about
Gin. She's like, Gin, I would prefer if you told me about all the fucked up shit than you killing yourself, you fucking prick.
No, like quite literally, like, Gin, you're wrong. Stop going for revenge. We're not gonna get anything out of this. Every time a Bleach character goes for revenge, they just end up like shooting themselves in the foot and failing and dying in some pitiful way. Every single time.
Yeah. And also with the whole Aizen thing, it's kind of cool because it's like it's about a different type of hiding something from you, and it's knowledge, or like knowledge of misfortune is not frightening knowledge. The pain comes from after the knowledge is received, which kind of shows Aizen's thing. Where Aizen's whole thing is, I need knowledge, there is no repercussions, I just need to test shit and ball. Oops, I gave Ichigo a hyperbolic time chamber? I'm a dumbass!
Another thing about it is just like, listen, like, not only is revenge cringe, but also like the best way to support Rangiku after like what happened would have been to stay with her and support her, like mentally or physically, whatever.
Not go work for Aizen for 300 years, you prick.
You decide to just go rogue and leave her alone. Like that sucks, man. It's a dick move.
All right, I get to do a second key. If you became a snake tomorrow and began devouring people, if you roared your love with that mouth you use to devour people, could I still say that I love you as I do today?
Alright, I think this is one of the ones not from Gin's perspective.
No, I think it is from Gin's perspective. I think it's Gin. I get the idea of like, I think it's Gin talking about how people look at him. I still think it's Gin talking because it's angsty as fuck. But clearly he's not talking about someone he knows. He's not like talking at someone. He's talking as if someone was looking at him. But I think the words make it pretty clear this is Gin because it's some downer shit.
That is true.
Or it's basically Gin asking himself, if, like, say, Rangiku acted the way he did, could he still love her? He's not doing, would you love me if I was a worm? He's doing, would I love you if you were a worm?
Like,
I like it a
very,
lot.
very straightforward, but like it's very powerfully worded, and I like it so much. It's probably one of the more. I think it's one of the more emotionally resonant poems in the whole thing.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It is like right. It is right around when Gin dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do love when Gin betrays Aizen, and Aizen has that giant like you fucker face.
You played a 300-year long con? Why? What'd I do to you?
No, I adore it. Yeah, I don't even think he knows what. I don't think Aizen even knows what he did to
like,
Gin.
What did I do to you? I knew since you were a little kid. What happened?
Yeah, literally, like when Gin betrays, he's just like this giant Gin. What is wrong with you? Also, this volume ends with Gin showing up to kill Aizen. He doesn't try till next volume, which is cool.
Yeah. All right, dude.
We're very slow with characterizing Gin.
All
All right,
right.
we're done with Soul Society. Not Soul
No, we're
Society.
not.
We're on
One more.
characters.
One more.
Yeah, this is the last one.
All right.
God is dead. Thank you, Aizen.
People are all imitations of monkeys. Gods are all imitations of humans. So
That's
obviously this is
okay.
like how he has a very cynical view of most people and like doesn't have like, you know, a lot of faith in the common man, because again like he views most people as being like cowards, too afraid to like leave like what they know. So like to
Yeah.
him like those are monkeys, but like, you know, to because Aizen like, you know, is very exceptional, he only views himself and like the few people like on his level as like actual people. And because, you know, he's aspiring to be a god, he's like saying, all right, the only actual people are like those that are exceptional.
Yeah. Also, this is just him being like, I'm an atheist. We are all just evolved apes, and gods are just shit we made up. Because that is literally what he's saying. It's just funny. And the monkey thing is cool because it ties into the thing he told Renji about the monkey that tried to touch the moon.
Yeah.
Or just we are fuck whatever. We are all just tall monkeys. But then the gods that we look up to, so Shocker Reo, the thing he wants to kill, is just an imitation of a human, which we later learn is literally true. Reo is just a fucking guy they trapped in a rock. He
Yeah.
was a strong guy, but he was just a fucking guy. Yeah.
You know, like the whole like poem, like Aizen will think kind of reference that old Buddhist poem, like, you know, the monkeys like reaching towards the pond, like the moon's reflection in like a pond or a river, and then, you know, it's supposed to be that they don't know how far away they actually are from their goal, and, you know, like it's named after Aizen's sword, like, you know, flower, mirror, flower, water, moon. So like
Yeah.
the he views most humans as the monkeys like in that poem. And
Yes.
like the few like gods or like people are the people who can see the actual
But then he
movement.
clarifies that gods are merely things invented by humans,
Yeah.
no monkeys. So he puts them all on the same level, essentially.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I really like about it is it also kind of shows his whole where is it? Like people are imitations of monkeys and gods are imitations of humans. What was the thing I was gonna say? I forgot. I'm dumb. Let me see if I can remember it. Oh yeah, no, it's also just kind of his whole nothing is sacred thing too, where he's like all humans are basically less than human and all gods are basically human. So basically to Aizen nothing is sacred, which we see cuz Aizen does dumb shit with that belief. For
Yeah.
one, straight up nuking Reo's palace, while would be kind of cool, would ultimately end really badly.
It would.
Because
Yeah.
that's some commenter disagreed with me in this last episode and they're wrong because they didn't read the novels like me. Uh, U-Box floating castle, if he got it, would have been over the soul equivalent of primordial goo. It would have been fucking chaos.
It would have
and
been
nothing.
really cool primordial goo, man.
No, it would have looked baller. That's why he wanted a castle. No, but and yeah, that's kind of Aizen's thing. Nothing is sacred to him. All humans are there to be messed with and experimented on, and all gods are just fake things he can fuck up and kill. Similar to like the divine again, the thing he killed that gave Ichigo a hyperbolic time chamber. Oops. Yeah. All right, we're good.
Yep.
We
All
can do the
right.
rest later.
Yep, we can do the rest later. Which will probably be a week from now because I'm about to go on vacation.
Woo. Okay.
All right.
Back Oka I go.
Teleport to the next week later. Time travel. Whoosh. All right, picking up right where we left off.
Yep. I'm reading first again because it's Ichigo, but again.
Dude, I love how distinct the volume covers for the Fullbring arc are. Just all these stark blacks.
Oh yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
When I was like, I don't know, like a second year in high school, the Ichigo one was my phone background for a while.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, first one. Ichigo again. You should stream because I can't see.
Right, yeah, I should do that.
Anyway, I wonder if I can keep up with the speed of a world you're not in. More Ichigo world stuff because it's all good.
Alright, I got the poems in front of me now. I can look at them.
One thing I really like about this is how it ties into his last two poems of "We fear that which we can't see, and nothing can change my world." Because "We fear that which we can't see" is completely gone. because like one example of like the people not in his world is like Rukia and the Soul Reapers, and he
Yeah.
literally can't see them, and that's
No, not
not something
anymore.
he fears. That's something he longs for. And then and then nothing can change my world. That's it. He doesn't because he says, "I wonder if I can keep up with the speed of a world you're not in." So the point is that Ichigo's world has shifted. It's that the people in it have left. So again, Ichigo's world doesn't change. It just gets either bigger or smaller. Right now, it's smaller because he can't fight no more.
Nope.
Can't go on little Soul Reaper fights with his friend.
No, poor baby.
No, I like it. It's good.
Yeah. All right. Is it okay here?
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Well, it
Cool.
was Ginjo.
All right. Now, what would
Oh,
Ginjo
Ginjo's
sound
a
like?
yapper.
I don't remember him from the anime, so I gotta wonder. All right.
I mean, he kind of looks like a bit of like a deep voiced punk.
Time always approaches from behind, growling and flowing past our eyes. Stand your ground, no matter how much time shows its fangs, in order to wash you away to a beautiful past. Do not look forward. Your hopes creep up behind you, only existing in dark, turbid waters.
He's so mopey. I love him so much.
Such a
He's
mopey
so
guy.
mopey. So yeah, obviously
You
within
see,
Fullbring itself, time is like
You
a
see,
huge
no,
theme.
no,
It's
no.
like,
See,
oh,
see, see. Hold
everything's
on.
growing and
The
changing.
reason why it says time is behind you is because the time Fullbring user, Grimmjow, he's behind the counter.
Yuriko.
He's standing
Yeah.
right behind the counter. That's what it means.
Mhm.
That's the literal meaning. Huh?
No, I like it. Time itself is like a Fullbring thing because a while has passed. Things have changed. Time is a bit of a menace to Ichigo. Then with Ginjo's, I think that the first one, you're like, well, how the fuck does that relate to Ginjo? But then you have stand your ground, no matter how much time shows its fangs, in order to wash you away to beautiful past. That is literally just like Ginjo being like, I'm not gonna let my beef with these fuckers die. And then
Yeah.
do not look forward, your hopes creep up from behind you. Literally. Because, Ginjo's at Ichigo parallel. So he's literally saying, don't look forward, don't look towards the future, don't strive forward, look back at the past. And in Ginjo's case, similar to Ichigo, it's look back at what was taken from.
Yeah. Also about that
I like
line,
it.
one thing that's really cool about it is that like I think at least twice, once for Ginjo, once for Ichigo, like literally their hopes creep up behind them and they're stabbed through the back, but like it's their one of their allies doing it, like Tsukishima.
Yeah.
Like he erased his memories, then he trusted him that he'd come back later and like give it back to him, which he did. And then for Ichigo, it's Ruki and the gang giving him his powers by stabbing him with the cool sword thing that gave him his powers back.
Right, next is Riruka. How the fuck? Don't put your finger in my heart. Thank you, Riruka.
Yeah.
I actually think that's kind of cool. Because with Riruka, her things that because she was like a freak and tortured that guy when she was younger. She's kind of like disassociative with what she likes. And because the heart is the bond between two people, don't put your finger in my heart is literally like, don't reach out to me. Don't try and interact with your bond with me. How dare you?
Yeah. And, also kind of like plays off of like the way her powers work, or like, the stuff that she likes, she can put things in and out of.
Yeah, like it's like literally don't
Clearly
like
referencing
the
that.
case of like Ichi like the house Ichigo fights. Don't put your finger inside the house because she connects with inanimate objects more than people now. Neato.
Nito Burrito. Alright, I'll put you there. Okay, who's next? Ooh,
Tsukushi.
Tsukishima. Fun one, fun one. Alright, let's see. Will you count with me? My teeth marks? On you? He says because he's a horny fuck.
That's not even close to the reason. Oh, that's a fucking weird one. Let me
It
use
is
my
a
brain
weird
for a
one. It is a
second.
weird one. I'm not sure what to. I wasn't sure what to make of it at first.
I guess one way you could immediately think about it is count my marks on you. Immediate lazy answer, it relates to his power, because his power is marking his place in you. And then teeth marks makes it feel kind of invasive and gross, which his power is.
Yeah.
And then how else? How else could you do it? Then
Hmm.
Tsukushima's other thing is he really clings to Ginjo. I guess you could say it's that too. I'll
Because
be
they're
honest.
gay for each other. That's what this
They're
is
not.
about.
I would say it's very one-sided, actually.
Read
I don't
between
think
the
Ginjo
lines,
gives a
Shinji. Come
shit.
on.
Yeah, I think that's what it says between the lines. Uh, I'll be honest. Probably missing something there, but generally speaking, I think that's kind of the vibe they're going for with him.
Yeah.
He'd be. I'm sure he'd be higher if we were smarter.
All right,
Yukio.
Yukio.
The fact that I am so young, so immature, seems so unforgivable to the decrepit, perfect and faultless adults. But that one's kind of pretty blatant, I
Pretty
feel
obvious,
like.
yeah. Like kid who, is underestimated for being young, and he thinks that the adults are cringe for thinking that, and like, oh, well, you're old, you have all the advantages in the world, yet you keep blaming me for everything.
There's things like he calls them decrepit, like again line breaking. He calls them the decrepit, and then line break perfect and flawless adults. So it shows like what he actually feels versus like how he's supposed to look at them.
Yeah.
And or same with the line break. I am so young as a line, and then immature and unforgivable are different line breaks because he doesn't actually make that association. He thinks other people do towards him.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, Rukia, number 2.
Very fun coincidence that these always happen to line up with odd and even, so we almost never have to swap character.
uh, if you can say that your heart doesn't change, then that is strength.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, kind of references like Byakuya's poem with like how we don't know what to do with our hearts.
And her general thing with Kaien, and also, um,
Because like hearts are like
your
relationship between people, like even though it's been like a long time since she and Ichigo like interacted, they still like has that bond.
yeah, and
Yeah.
It ties in Ichigo's whole thing of nothing can change my world, because Ichigo's world is partially like his bonds with other people. So by saying your heart doesn't change, it's saying the fact that your bonds with other people can't break, that is a strength.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, because it's been quite a while since he saved the Soul Society, but they all come back to help him.
Yay! Good for him. All right.
Oh, I
Ooh,
need to
that's
go
a fun one.
Yuak. Take one step in and never return. The sea of blood of the universe. The sea of blood of the universe. My fucking god.
Dude, Thousand Year Blood War?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that is part of it. Take one step in and never return. I feel like that's kind of just Bleach's general war themes, as in like, war is not something you can take back. Sea of blood in the universe, I think, ties into one, the scale of how great the war is going to be, and two, Bleach's general thing about like the universality of like war and evil, and how all wars are universally fucked up seas of blood.
Yeah. Or it could be like him like talking about like the literal like cosmic like ties everything together and like how he's gonna
But yeah, no,
turn it all.
it
Yeah.
has both like the meta level and the character level of why he personally would talk like that.
Yeah.
It's also cool because this is said when they go to Hueco Mundo, which was described before by Halibel, who is now imprisoned as a Sea of Blood. But he calls the Sea of Blood the entire universe. So basically, what he's doing to Hueco Mundo is going to be done to everywhere else.
Yeah,
That's cool.
or like the Sea of Blood of the universe. Like if sacrifice was the big thing about Hollywood's poem, now it's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
talking about the original sin that like created the three worlds, which is like the Soul King being like
Well,
imprisoned
and
and all that.
he will sacrifice all of his allies to get to that point himself.
Yeah,
Cool poem. Says a lot about Yuhabak.
cool poem indeed.
Yuhabak. How do you say his name? Care. I'm not far off, so I don't care.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Do you want me to hear my bad German accent?
Well, it's only for one poem, so go right ahead.
The soldiers blow their trumpets, like stars shooting by the ear. The soldiers stomp their feet, like thunder in the air.
Shocker. As we've talked about before, this guy's whole thing is that he's the most fascist Sternrittner by a mile. So his poem
Quite
is just him
literally.
being an absolute military
You know,
freak.
I remember when I was like reading like weekly, and then I think it was actually a point where I was catching up to Bleach, where I was like, oh, so like all the Quincy's are gonna be like these super fanatic like German Nazi people, but he was like the only one pretty much.
He's the most.
No, the like the others like sometimes they'll crop up, but it's like this guy's like he's the guy.
Yeah. I think it's funny because he acts like that, but then Halswash, who's like the other most loyal, acts more like they are not in like Nazi Germany times, but like they're in like medieval
Yeah.
times. He has a different kind of loyalty. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like basic um militarism, powerful speech.
Yeah, stars shooting in the air. It's like a romantic way to describe like a loud, thunderous noise.
Yeah, and star shooting there is like, oh, they are literally stars because the Sternrittner symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are evil and we're gonna come fuck you up.
Yeah.
Ooh, Byakuya.
Yaki number two. Kubo You Good is
Mm,
getting really big.
yeah, oh yeah. Maybe adjust it later. A petal falling, never to bloom again. A petal in flames, full of beauty. Thank you, Byakuya. Oh, she's just proof that he was supposed to die.
Oh no. Good thing the fangirl saved him though.
I think it's pretty clearly talking about not just him, but I would say also Yubak and not Yubak, Yamamoto and Soul Society in general.
Yeah. Petal in
I would say it
flames.
feels like it's really because also this is the volume where the Yubak fight starts and it ends with him doing his final slash. So the one that looks like it ends it. So it's called a petal falling, never to bloom again. A petal in flame, soul of beauty. Literally, they're just describing Yamamoto.
Yeah.
This is the fight where he dies, but he's gonna go down in a blaze because he's Yamamoto and he's cool.
Or like it could
And,
even
it's
be
also
like referring to like Ichi. Well, I guess this happens in the next volume. It's when Ichigo's Bankai
yeah,
breaks.
Ichigo isn't here yet.
Yeah, he's not there yet.
Yeah, no. So I would say it's half. I would say you could also say it's a difference between how he and Yamamoto lose their fights. If Byakuya views himself as a petal falling, never to bloom again, it could be how he gets absolutely fucking dicked on pathetically, and then a petal in flames full of beauty would be Yamamoto who dies in like a blaze of passion fighting Yuhabak.
Yeah,
You
because
could
like
even
as far
say
as
it's him
yeah.
criticizing. So yeah, you could even say it's Byakuya externally criticizing his performance that arc.
Yeah, or like even like the first part like could still it could still refer to not him like dying, but just him losing his Bankai, right? Because he did.
Yeah, because
So
he
like,
did.
oh
Yeah,
no, I'll never get it back. Oh shit, no. He's
yeah.
bummed out. Ooh, all right.
Here's the Yamamoto poem.
The heart burns, even though the rain falls. He's one of my favorite characters. I love him so
This
much.
is such a good poem for him.
I know, cause all right. So like, Rain's always been like symbolic of like grief and like sadness, and Yamamoto,
Grief,
who's
sadness,
really
but
old.
also like connection.
Yeah. So like he's always like obviously he's lived through like for a bajillion years he's lost countless friends, and he just lost one like a volume ago, the
He
lightning
lost his
system Capcom.
closest, I would say,
And
by
like
like a
he's
mile.
yeah, and he's even caused countless tragedies himself, which he's kind of self-aware that they're fucked up and bad, and he wishes he never has to be that guy again.
Yeah, he literally calls himself a monster.
But still, like no matter what happens, like the heart burns. Like his motivation and like his drive to like do it things his way, like he's too stubborn to like turn back on someone and tell him what he did was wrong. He just wishes he never has to do that sort of stuff again. Like the heart
Yeah,
will always burn, and like he's ready to become that guy again if he has to. He just wishes he doesn't. And
yeah, it's
no
good.
matter how many times like he loses someone, or like he does a tragedy thing, like his heart will still burn no matter how much rain falls. I mean, it's so cool. I love him so much.
Okay, you are either lagging, your mic is fucked, or you have a fan touching your mic. I can't tell which.
Oh no, oh no.
Ah, you
Jeez.
sound good for now. Let's hope it was lag.
Okay. Unohana.
Battle is everything.
It sure
It
is.
is for her. You know,
Sure
the
is.
context of this mostly comes from when you read the volume and you learn just what she means by that.
Yeah. It's really straightforward.
Yeah, because it's quite literally for them. It is where her purpose comes from to the point that her final act is dying in an infinite battle to awaken Kenpachi.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say other than what you just said.
No, it's just like, yeah, pretty good short poem. It's like, yeah, that's true. I think part of this is also supposed to be part of like the big Unohana reveal where it's like she finally gets a poem and it's the super stoic, nice healer lady, and it's just like a basic psychopath
Yeah.
poem. It's great.
Okay, Ichigo's
Oh, it's
mom.
Masaki.
Okay, this is one of the ones that I think is like not from the character's perspective, but like about like Ishin or maybe like Ichigo's
Oh, because
perspective
this
on it.
is how Ishin talks about
Yeah.
Masaki.
You without the sun. Oh, sorry. You without sin are like the sun. You even with sin are like the sun. So like basically just, no matter like you are the center of my world. I love you so much, and whether you're innocent or you're not, I still love you regardless. Very simple, but
Yeah.
I think it's very emotionally resonant.
And I think it's cool because not only does that sound like how Ishin would describe her, that sounds like how, I don't remember his name, that sounds like how Uryu's dad would describe her early on.
Yeah, because like Uryu's dad, like it's like you got to be normal Quincy girl, got to do Quincy things, but then she helps a Soul Reaper, gets into the whole hollow mess thing. Is like, all right, well, I you're still the coolest person I know.
Yeah. It's also cool because this volume, beyond being the end of Ichigo's flashback, so not only does that kind of apply to how the two guys in the flashback felt, that's also kind of Ichigo's thing, where like now that he's learned the truth, uh, like that is still the sun in his life. It's just changed the way he feels about it.
Yeah,
And then also it's the one where everyone is steeling themselves for the war, especially Komamura and Ichigo gets his new swords. So well, he doesn't get his new sword. Jay he has to go fight his Quincy self. So it's also talking about like everyone's drive for Yamamoto, who you could say was the son of the Soul Society
yeah.
for a lot of people. All right. Oh, dude, is this Yubak or is it Old Man Zangetsu? Who
It's
can say?
obviously old man Zangetsu because he's upside down.
So maybe Yubak. Yubak could do that if he wanted to.
He could if he wanted to, but he never does.
I believe the world is full of danger. I want to protect you only because inside me is the same impulse as that danger. That kind of ties into basically confirming that, yeah, the Tensa's Zangetsu we saw was in fact young Yuhabak talking. So this basically confirming that, yeah, that part of him has always been part of Ichigo's sword. It's just been heavily suppressed.
Yeah. Even like the whole thing about because inside me is the same impulse as that danger. So like everyone fights for their own reasons. The Quincy's aren't really that much worse than the Soul Reapers at the end of the day. Yada yada. That war starts because no two sides are evil or both sides are evil. Either or.
The same impulse as that danger is kind of like he's genuinely worried that like Ichigo's Quinciness that Yuhabak plans on taking advantage of might actually come through.
Yeah.
Oh, this is also the volume where everyone gets their Bankai back, which is, kind of cool. It's like, oh, they get to talk to their Bankai.
Dude,
And it
that
shows the
reminds me.
whole.
I just finished the reading Can't Fear Your Own World today.
Yeah.
And there was this one like line where Hisagi's talking with his spirit, right? And it's
Yeah.
like it implied that all the spirits can like either communicate or are like aware of each other somehow.
Oh, they are.
Even though Hisagi is wait, who's white? Who's white?
No, actually, that's always kind of been implied because what I think of is maybe it was filler and I'm dumb, but I feel like it was in the manga. When Renji's training with Zabimaru, and Zabimaru's like, I want to fight Zangetsu again.
Well, yeah, but I thought that was because like literally their blades like clashed and they fought each other. But like,
Well, okay,
Hisagi's
I
never
point out
fought.
the fact that the blades can learn each other's name by clashing is just as ridiculous as the idea that the blades are vaguely aware of each other because of spirit bullshit. Both of
But
those
I
are
am just
equally nonsensical.
But it just makes me imagine like there's like a coffee break room where all the spirits just go into whenever they're not like talking with their dudes and they all just hang out and they know each other.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
that
hey
would be
Yachiru, how's your thing with Kenpachi going? Did he say your name yet? Oh no, well, that
unfortunately, it's
sucks.
definitely a lot more like they're all aware of each other and just don't interact. It's
Uh,
neat.
yeah, it's neat.
I like that. I like this poem.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it right
Whoa, you get to do
here.
Komamura.
Ooh, yeah, I
I'm
like
glad his only
Komamura.
volume has him as a dog.
Yeah, Just a big
Even
dog.
though he is not a dog in this volume.
Heart of Wolf. I will continue to fight myself as long as I have the fangs in my heart.
For the record, Heart of Wolf is not a part of the poem. Just to clarify.
Heart of Wolf. I will continue to fight myself. It just seems to be. I'm not sure if it could refer to like both, like
it's double meaning. Get it?
yeah, either like he will continue fighting himself, myself, as in like
As in,
I will fight
he
the
will
battle
know,
myself,
yeah,
or like I
yeah,
will
like
fight
internal
myself as in
struggle.
I will fight like my inner turmoil in order to do the
Yeah,
cool
yeah,
thing.
it's both. He will fight like as a person because Yamamoto can't, but also he's like fighting internally because his struggle for revenge and all his Tosin shit.
Yeah. And the second part, as long as I have fangs in my heart, if fangs are like connections with other people, that could imply like either like hit the influence of Yamamoto on him, or you know, like is what giving him the will to fight.
Well, the fangs being in heart is super cool
Yeah.
because it's like he literally doesn't have a physical heart during this volume because he gave it up, but he still has fangs in his heart because the idea is the bond he shares with, in this case, Yamamoto is still there, and the
Yeah.
fangs are his desire to. I think fangs are described as like the desire to fight. Same with like Renji's one about the
Yeah, with
fang and like
Renji.
don't let this fang reach the. So yeah, it's like he has a desire to fight. So as long as that exists, he will continue doing it, even though he does have his inner turmoil. Oh, dude, it's ass nut.
Ooh.
What? There is no difference between living and being to live. Just like there is no difference between dying, being killed. Such an edgy fuck.
He is edgy, and he
I
wants
like
to
it.
have hot sex with Byakuya.
No.
What do you mean? No, he does. Dude, he so does.
If you say so. No, yeah, this shows as not said pretty clearly.
Yeah, you know, there's no difference between living and being allowed to live. Like in his mind, Habaku like gave him his power and can take it away at any moment. Like he is just like a supreme god, and you know him like being alive at all or like in the condition to fight is like you know only due to like his god's grace, right? So like
Yeah.
it's literally like
You could
a
also
fear
say
of God
it's
in him.
yeah. Yeah, it is his constant fear thing. Where like, yeah, of course there's constant fear. Because you are always being allowed to live and you will because if you die, because like it's like fear of dying, fear of being killed, to him that's the same thing. So he is always being allowed to live. Could at the drop of a hat be killed? That's literally how he views the world.
Yeah. There's no difference between dying and being killed. Ooh, so edgy, so cool. All right. Ooh.
And then
Okay.
you could also see how that kind of applies to like other characters though, because like shocker, most characters don't share his perspective because he's fucked in the head.
He is.
But I actually do think you see that with because the very end during the Rukia fight, Byakuya has the line where he says, "What is it?" He says a really good line. It's like a blade swung for the sake of a life is some. What does he say?
Hmm.
What does
I'm
he
trying to remember.
say?
I
A
can't remember.
sword swung in exchange for one's life, can protect nothing. So that's literally the opposite. It's like you can give up your life. You can. That's also kind of cool of dying and being killed. It's like you would die by killing yourself for doing it, and living and being allowed to live. You are allowing yourself to live through how she fights. So that's fun.
Yeah, that is nice.
All right, Grammy.
All right. What do I do for a Grammy voice?
He's a little shit, obviously.
He is a little shit, but there's many ways you can do a little shit.
Yeah, do it.
Beauty is nothing being there. Uh-huh. My name's Grammy. This is what I
Dude,
sound like in the anime adaptation of
it.
Bleach.
It is. I wouldn't have seen it
I
because I
don't
don't
know.
like the way it looks.
I don't know either. So beauty is nothing being there. Obviously, his power is imagination. So like nothing has to be there until he imagines it. So you know, he whatever he imagines comes to life, and he thinks that's pretty cool. So like that's a
I
straightforward
think
way
you
to read
could.
the poem.
I think you could also kind of read into that, where like nothing being there is kind of like Grammy being able to appreciate nothingness because of his powers.
Yeah.
Because Shocker's imagination, I assume shit is always going on with him, so nothingness is something he can appreciate.
Yeah, like I remember this is actually something in the novel was like, you know, uh he said like, oh, when the war's over, I'd like to like try eating food because like I can't imagine like how it would taste sometimes, and so it's like surprised because like I wasn't out,
Yeah,
I haven't actually eaten
because
that
he
much
can't
food throughout
imagine a
my life.
taste he hasn't had before.
Yeah, so like he wants to try doing that, so like the fact that there's something that he doesn't know is exciting to him because then it can expand his
Yeah.
world and all that.
What's fun is to compare that to Kenpachi, who this is the arc where he finally no longer has to deal with nothing being there. Something finally is there, as in he can finally talk to his fucking sword.
Yeah,
So it's the opposite, where he appreciates ness. Kenpachi for the first time in his life basically gets everything.
he
He
does.
gets the greatest fight he could ever have. He gets to talk to his sword. It's great. He has a good time.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, it's Giselle.
The hottest Quincy girl.
Love you to death. That's pretty fucking simple.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
It's, if anything, it's just kind of like hinting at what her powers do. And
Yeah,
it does tie, her powers do tie directly into her mindset.
yeah. She loves Bambi, and she killed Bambi so she could turn Bambi into a zombie and cuddle with her all day.
Her do what she wants. Yeah, it's pretty much how she acts with everything.
Yep, she's a kind of a control freak at the end of the day, even though she kind of like frames herself as kind of like a drifting masochist.
Mm. And then if you want to compare that to like the rest of the arc, specifically stuff in the volume, this does have a bunch of shenanigans with Ichigo and his friends together. So it's like, oh look, is that regular normal friendship love versus you freaks?
I remember when that like series of chapters was called the Headless Star. I thought like Ichigo was supposed to be the Headless Star, and it was like, well, is that just a cool way of saying he's the main character?
Funny.
But no, it's about like like there's two groups of five, and they all lost a member. Like the Quincy girls lost Bambietta, and they lost Uryu, and the Headless Star is like
Yeah,
the Quincy cross with 5 points, and then like one of them's
yeah.
missing. Cool. All
Uh,
right.
this guy is so fun.
Sorry, I am
Notice how
strong.
so I love him. He's such a king.
He is cool. Is life all that you can cut?
That's
Dudes.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool, cool. Because he's because one, you could literally read that as him lamenting his stupid sword.
Yeah, a sword that can cut so well he can't even like make a sheath where he has to carry it around in a tub of jelly.
Yeah, and then it also just kind of ties into the whole you'd almost see it as like a wish for peace from him.
Yeah, because like
That
he
like
makes
he,
swords all
as the
day.
man who makes swords, trains Ichigo and Renji to get better, is as in the manga at least, in the anime it's very different because Senjimaru pops off, but in the manga at least, besides Ichibei, he seems to be the head fighter of the group
Yeah.
because he's the one who jumps in and kills like 3 Sternrittner and then they regen.
Yeah, so like the whole is life all you can cut, how it's like framed as a question. It seems to just be like, he makes swords and like, everyone the base use of a sword is to kill people, but like
Yeah,
most soul reapers like some of them find different ways to use the sword like I guess this is a weird example to pull because it's in the novels, but Hisagi's sword he can't cut life
literally
with that. No.
doesn't kill in its ultimate state.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Oh, I guess to be specific, whenever we mentioned the novels, we are talking about the 3 Can't Fear Your Own World novels. Because there are 2 other ones. I forget the name of that we have not fucking read. I don't even know
No.
if those ones are canon or. Well, by the way, Puff, insane thing I learned. You know all the Brave Soul things we show you of the weird, like, super resurrection Espada?
Yeah.
Those are described as promo tie-ins to Can't Fear Your Own World, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
What? What?
No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway,
Oh,
shocker.
I need to ask you. I've heard that there are like canon second resurrection forms for Nell and Grimmjow in the mobile game. Is that
No, the
is
mobile
that
game has
true?
second resurrection. No, I don't think they're canon, but it
Okay.
does have second resurrections for all
I
the Espada.
I could have
It
sworn I
also
saw
gives
power
Ulquiorra, but
scalers bringing up all the
no,
times. Like
here's how you know it's not canon, Puff, because Ulquiorra gets a third one.
maybe
Is not how
is
that.
there a canon third one?
That doesn't make sense because I always took it as if Resurrection is Shikai, whatever Ulquiorra did is Bonkai.
Yeah. And I read the novels. It'd be really weird if they fought the people they did and decided not to use their super cool second resurrection forms.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been a stupid idea. So no, it's not canon. It's just a fun what if. Just like there's a what if where Ichigo's a sun god and Shinji's a lightning god. So yeah, I don't know how that's a novel tie-in. Just like no, the reason I brought that up is because the other novels, which we haven't read, have tie-ins which I assume are also non-canon. There's a bunch of characters, uh, dead and alive, have like fusion forms of them with their Bankai. They
Neato
look stupid.
burrito.
I will show them to you later. Anyway, Ichibe,
Black.
the future, pitch black, the future, pitch black, upside down.
Dude,
I
upside
love
down,
you,
is that a reference to Shinji?
That'd be funny.
The future
The
pitch
future
black.
pitch black. The future pitch black is interesting because that implies a future completely under his control, which is counteractive to Uebach, who does believe he has the future. This is really interesting though because if you didn't know Ichibe said it, this almost sounds like a Uebach poem.
It kind
Because the
of
future pitch
does.
black is like Uebach, pitch black can see the future, and upside down is like how he's going to change the way the world functions. But it's not. The one saying it is Ichibe.
And
It's
obviously, like,
almost like
his
he feels.
Bankai, like, is, like, the power to control black. So that part makes complete sense. But then, like, the
Yeah.
future and upside down.
It almost feels like he's viewing Uhabak as a potential future that he's going to destroy.
Yeah. Hmm. Or, like, maybe it's, like it's Yuhabak's future that's pitch black. Because in this volume, he turns him into the king of ants. Like
Yes.
a black ant. And then, like, says, fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I keep forgetting this guy's name. I just call him Lethal Dose.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't remember his name. Oh, it's like As Askin or something.
Doesn't all that venom make you dizzy?
That's very fun. It's
Yeah, I
it's
know.
literally it's kind of just him being like, "Hey, dude, aren't you sick of fighting me? Please stop."
Yeah, it's just him like, listen, can you just back off? Like, can you just like, can you just die already? Because
Yeah.
he
And it's
doesn't like
fun
fighting, but he's really
because that's
strong.
in the volume where the characters are being pushed to like their brink and don't stop. Like this is the one where
Like, can't you just give up hope already? Like, come on.
yeah, because like this is the one where this is one where the 13 cap this is one where Ukitake kills himself to keep fighting. This is Nanao and Kyoraku fighting against God's light. This is the one where there's one where Ichigo starts his hopeless fight against Yuhabak. Yeah, like his fight actually isn't in that much of it. It's mostly him just lamenting the general situation. It's like, can't you please stop? Isn't this hopelessness enough to get you to quit? And at the
Yeah.
end, it even ends with, who I guess you could call one of the quote unquote like most venom filled characters, which is Aizen in his chair, fucked up, still fighting. It just is him being like, he doesn't understand why everyone fights so hard. Because he doesn't actually cling to life, he clings to life in the sense of why is everything such a hassle?
Yeah. Life's a pain.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like
oh,
that.
I like this one.
Bullet, claw, battle flag, short sword. With my fingers bent, I wait for you. I like that a lot.
I like it. All right.
It is just like encapsulation of like his life growth through joining the Sternrittner and his expectations. Pulse wash.
Yeah. Like fingers bent. Like that's probably like
Fingers
him.
bent so they're not pointing at.
Yeah, so either he's not willing to kill his friend, or like possibly like even if like if all of his weapons were to break, he would still like wait for Hashwolf to like come join him again, or like he would
Yeah.
still wait for him to come save him if like he couldn't fight anymore.
Then bullet, claw, battle flag, short sword. Not only there's all like, oh, those are all things he kind of does and represents the army. It's also kind of like how his fingers work because he has a finger pistol basically with bullet. Claw is he can do his flame claws. Battle flag is like his giant eruption, and short sword is he can use it like a sword.
Yeah.
So it's literally him being like, with everything that I am, I will wait for you, but I will keep my fingers bent because basically up until this fight, he was hoping Hulk Slush would like come around.
Yeah, this is happening right as they're like gonna like, hey, we're gonna rebel against Yuhabak because we don't want to get eaten and die. And he thought like maybe his childhood friend would agree, but no.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, ooh, and it's his friend.
Also, another funny thing with fingers bent waiting for you is the other character in this applies to is this is when Grimmjow comes back and glares at Ichigo. That is another case of a character who really wants to fight his rival, having to hold himself back till later.
Dude, him and Bazz-B would be such good friends by that. I mean, they
Oh
both
my
try to kill
god,
each
they'd be
other.
so similar.
Dude, do you know in the original draft of the Thousand Year Blood War, Ichigo was gonna fight Bazz-B because Kubo always makes Ichigo fight an animalistic, a rival type character.
Dude, Bazz-B is animalistic. Think about it. He's got a mohawk. He looks like a chicken.
He fights with his hands, with his bare hands. All right, Hashwolf. There is no pain as long as I keep my eyes on the balance scale.
I think that one's quite good.
Yeah, it's another short one that is pretty good. I'm gonna put it right here. So he's basically saying as long as like he does as Yuabak wants, as long as he's the balance, like there's no pain, I have nothing to fear, and all that jazz. Like it's just his complete loyalty to Yubak that's being illustrated.
And what's fun is this is also the fight where Mayuri fights the hand of motion instead of the hand of stillness, because the motion and hand and the stillness hand great balance.
Yeah.
So it's quite literally like while he says there is no pain as long as there is balance, while Mayuri is literally fighting something that fights with its nervous system.
Yeah.
So it's quite literally him being happy with his stillness, calmness, which makes sense to him. But then contextually in the volume, it's talking about how there is going to be pain and grief because Mayuri, the absolute psychopath with Nemu, is fighting a thing that fights with its nervous system.
Yeah, and also I like how there's no pain. Like obviously, like that's wrong because he felt bad about what happened with Bazz-B. So even though he's still completely loyal to Yubak, like he's telling himself that this is like what he wants and all that, but he clearly has regrets.
It's like it's something he proclaims.
Yeah, and like the phrase like "keep my eyes on the belt" kind of makes it seem like he's looking away from, like he's trying to ignore how he's feeling and like what he's regretting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
This is the other one. This last one is if this is either A, not from Nemu's POV, it's from Mayuri Kurosuchi's, or the idea is it's just again Nemu projecting what she wants.
Yeah.
My child's hand so lost, wandering, in search of mine. Close but far, I take your hand. Together we will walk to the end. The reason I think this is her projecting is because Mayuri would not fucking talk like this.
No, he wouldn't. At least not out loud.
No.
I like to think that in his own head he like thinks in like binary or something. That's why his poem's so simple.
And what's cool about this is this doesn't just relate to obviously her dynamic with Mayuri and wanting to reach out and walk with and help help Mayuri at the end when she doesn't let him. This is also the volume, most notably, where Kyoraku supports Nanao in her final fight.
Yeah.
So it's also him. Like, because literally the last scene is him supporting her hands and helping her push forward.
Yeah.
So it's quite literally like her failing to get what she wants with Mayuri, and then like kind of showing what she wished she had with how Shun tweets like guy whose name I forget. I just know he's the X-axis.
Yeah, and like together we will. Yeah, and together we will walk to the end. Nemu like dies.
Does just straight up die.
Yeah, I mean, they salvage her brain. And it's implied that she'll come back in some way, but like she does like.
But I think it's pretty clear it's a different one.
Yeah, she does like die, and like so. But
she doesn't remember.
But she was with
Mayuri
her
by a different name. She has different hair when we see her. It's a different kid.
Yeah. And also, baby, hold your hand. They're fighting a giant hand. Hand is said twice in the poem. Coincidence?
Yeah.
I think not.
Yeah.
Baby, hold your hand is like I think my favorite fight in the manga. It's so good.
It's super good. It's a great fight. Everyone's like, "Oh, Bleach has no strategy." Look at God King Kurosuchi. spraying acid on the hand of God to make its nerves hurt.
Oh, your powers to control nerves? Well, I made a big baby with 10,000 layers of nerves that all peel off when you touch them.
I am a genius. He's such a prep time, bro. I love him.
I know. He's like what people think Batman is when they talk
Yeah, I
about
think you
Batman.
said
They will
that last time, but yeah, that is literally who he is.
Yeah. All right, Uryu. If my worlds had form, they wouldn't reach you standing in the dark.
This is basically his thoughts on why he can't get his friend's help.
Yeah.
Even if he did explain his words to them, they wouldn't fully understand because they're in the dark of what's going on.
Yeah, and also like when he does like say what he wants to do, it's like, hey, fuck your plan, or we're gonna do this together. Fuck your plan.
You
Like he,
also even read in the dark as like, even if I did tell you and you went and fought Yubok, where you would be, because like Yubok is like the embodiment of like darkness, because like that's what he looks like. Even if you were standing fighting Yubok, the words wouldn't help you. Just balancing it out a bit.
yeah,
Don't like the way it looks too much.
I'm gonna balance it out a bit.
All
I
right.
don't
Have
like the
fun
look of it.
finding your checkpoint.
Oh no, I think I know what my checkpoint's gonna be.
Yo, it's Renji. I love Renji. Well, Puff goes through that. A fun fact about Can't Fear Your Own World, everyone. You should read it. I know weebs don't like reading things without pictures. I hate it too. Don't worry.
Don't
But it's
worry, there's
very
five
good.
pictures, 5 pictures per book. You can do it.
There are a few. Dude, Shinji's such a badass book. He's so fucking slick. I love him so much. Oh, Puff. Also, Kenpachi. I guess in case someone doesn't read it, we won't be too spoilery. Kenpachi versus a certain Hollow is one of the funniest things I've ever read in my life.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Your name's well be Wimp.
uh,
Love.
all right, Renji.
All right. The fire that drips from flames does not fade. The blade burns away the field, revealing my hidden friend. That's fun.
Yeah, it could be like specifically talking about his new Bankai and how like he got its
I
second
think
name.
that is what hidden friend is.
Yeah.
But also, again, metatextual. This is also where we see several new Bankai for the first time. We see, well, new to us. We see Hitsugai's true Bankai. We see Kenpachi's Bankai. And we see Urahara use Bankai for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's like we're meeting a lot of hidden friends. So that's
and
very
obviously it also like references the old poem with like fire on the fang, and how
yeah.
his will not fade.
Yeah, his strength and will has not faded. The blade burns away the field, revealing it. Yeah, basically he's burning away what was once there, the field, so just like a broad expanse. You could say his old mindset, revealing his new hidden friend, just yeah, his true Bankai.
And dude, snakes hide in grass, and the snake was the part that didn't acknowledge him. Whoa.
Which is kind of hard to believe because his old form looked like a snake, and his new form looks a lot more like a monkey.
not.
I do love that Renji's ultimate buff is like, I have a big, strong arm that I'm gonna punch you really hard with. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you with my big, strong arm.
All right, the final poem, with 2 characters
Actually,
on
no,
it.
but wait, back to the Renji thing from the thing. It's also really cool because, again, with the other Bankai, this is quite literally like the battlefield is being raised because, like, Miracle Guy's fucking shit up, Poison Guy's starting to win. But
Yeah.
from that, it doesn't break any of the Soul Reapers. It causes them to evolve and reveal the ultimate forms of their swords. So it's
Yeah.
like quite literally the field disappearing only makes them stronger.
Yeah.
Death
Cool.
and Strawberry, bro. That's the name of the first chapter.
Even without a form, we will never stop walking. Only
Cool.
volume with 2 people on it, and it's the protagonist and Deuteragnus who got poems 1 and 2.
Very fun, very cool.
Yeah.
Even without form, we'll never. That's kind of interesting because a formless world is what Yuhabak wanted to make.
Yeah, it just
So that's
means
kind of
like
neat.
I think it just means like regardless of whatever physical state we find ourselves in, we will never give up.
Yes. No, and I think without form is cool because that can imply to both the whole "nothing can change my world, nothing should change your heart" thing. Regardless of the change of form, Ichigo's world is always his world. Rukia's bonds with everyone, so her hearts are still her hearts. They will keep moving forward because, as the final volume says, they got their courage, bro.
Yeah. And I just realized I put all of Rukia's and Ichigo's poems side by side.
Good job. That is so funny.
I don't regret it. I'm leaving it. This is perfect.
Yeah, that's great.
See, it's
The
Rukia.
conclusion.
No, it'd be perfect. It was like Ichigo, middle one because Ichigo's on the left, and then
Yeah.
But I like
Okay. Whatever.
Rukia as a bit more. So
Anyway, very, very, very good. Bleach is a great series, and everyone should read it. Uh, yeah, that's it. People
yeah,
should read
but
Bleach.
all right,
It's
all
a
right. So
banger.
like I said that like we would maybe do comments after like at the end of this tier list, but this is too fucking long, and there are way too
Hey,
many comments. We're at
no, we
179
can
right
give
now.
some brief things. If you did a fact check and you're
179.
right,
Holy
no,
shit.
here we'll go. If you did a fact check and you're right, thank you. If you did a fact check and you're wrong, you're stupid. You don't know who you are, but some of you are dumb. Some of you did wrong corrections. Um, if you're that one guy who didn't watch the video, so you won't watch this one, who really fucking loathes Bleach with a burning passion, and also doesn't understand what people mean when they say the ending had to be rushed. Great for you, champ. You're having a ball.
Yeah, and also like for the Jujutsu Kaisen fans, I'm gonna clarify. I've read like 2 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen and thought like, oh, this is cool. I'll read it when it's over, and then like that's what my thoughts are right now. I
Yeah.
actually don't know or
And then
really
my
care about all that much.
as the guy who
I
reads
put
it,
it in the
I,
thumbnail because I thought it would be funny, and I'm right. It
it
was
was
so
funny.
funny.
It
Also,
did get
this
a
is the
lot of hate
best
because there are
performing video we've ever had on the channel, so it's obviously a winner.
super funny. No, and also there's a lot of beef with people commenting without watching. Oh, here's my Jujutsu perspective as the guy who read it. I'm not having fun with the current arc. But I'm not upset because Jujutsu in general for me has never been a very fun manga to read weekly. Like I think it's Jujutsu is way better on the binge than it is weekly. This longest fight of all time is not my favorite thing.
Yeah, but
But no,
that
I'm sure it'll be better when I reread.
yeah.
My main critique is Shocker, the one everyone had. So I guess I'll be vague. The Nobara shit is the worst.
You told me
It's the
about it.
worst. The
It
worst. Some
seems
of the worst.
terrible.
The worst. It's the worst. It's holy shit. Is it dumb?
Honestly, it
It was
sounds
dumb when
the way you described it. It sounds embarrassing.
no, it was dumb when it was revealed in the interview, and when they revealed it in the actual like manga, like 2 weeks later, still dumb, still bad, god awful. Ugh. But I do like Jujutsu. That specific thing just uh, irk, irk. We'll talk about Jujutsu eventually. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
probably.
MHA first though, because it ended.
Yeah. Woo. I'm gonna
Thank you
get
for
to reading
MHA
that.
comments. Give us more. Give us more.
Yep.
Talk about like I don't know Bakugo or something. All right, that is all.
That is all. Good night. Oh, if you're wondering why the audio sounds different, it's because I'm in a garage in a cabin. All right, goodbye.